Good evening. I'd like to call the Good evening. I'd like to call the regular City Council meeting of March 6, 2019 to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Thomas Masters,
Present.
Chairperson Tanya Davis Johnson,
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Lynn Hubbard,
Here.
Councilperson Kashamba Miller Anderson, Councilperson Julia Botel,
Here.
Councilperson Terrence Davis,
Here.
City Manager Karen Hoskins,
Here.
City Clerk Claudia Anthony is present, City Attorney Don Wynn.
Here.
You may proceed.
Stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilman Davis. Members of the public shall be given a total of 3 minutes to speak on all items listed on the consent agenda. Any person who would like to speak on consent agenda items, please fill out a public comment card located on the table directly outside of the council chambers and give it to the staff prior to the adoption of the agenda. Madam Manager, do we have any additions, deletions, or substitutions?
Yes, Madam Chair. We have the following additions: community benefits request on consent. Item number 5A, addition. Washington Elementary School, $500. Mayor Thomas A. Masters to defray costs for purchase of student council attire and cordless microphones. Item number 5B, addition. Nelson's Outreach Ministries, $500 from Mayor Thomas A. Masters to support the weekly food distribution ministry. Item number 5C, Valley of Love Ministries Incorporated, $200 from Chair Pro Tem Lynn L. Hubbard to support the Community Food Assistance Program. Item number 5D, Heart Health Healing Ministries, $200 from Chair Pro Tem Lynn L. Hubbard to support It's All About Me program, educating residents on the prevention of HIV and AIDS. Item number 5E, Youth Recreation Association of Riviera Beach, $500 from Chair Pro Tem Lynn L. Hubbard to support the Riviera Beach Cares Homeless Coalition in providing emergency shelter for displaced Riviera Beach residents. Item number 5F, First Baptist Church of Riviera Beach Incorporated, $250 from Chair Pro Tem Lynn L. Hubbard to support the Community Food Assistance Program. Item number 5G, addition. Freepreneurs Incorporated, $250 from Chair Pro Tem Lynn L. Hubbard to support the mental health workshop, inspiring girls to become future entrepreneurs. Item number 5H, Helping Hands Community Resource Center, $1,150 from Chair Pro Tem Lynn L. Hubbard to support the community activities provided to Riviera Beach residents. Item number 5I, Quasi Drums LLC, care of Synergy Camp Incorporated, $250 from Chair Pro Tem Lynn L. Hubbard to support the Synergy Percussion Clinic. Item number 5J, the Pink Queen Foundation, $200, Chair Pro Tem Lynn L. Hubbard to support My Pink is Unique Cancer Awareness, assisting families impacted by cancer. And under awards and presentations, item number 6A, proclamation from the Office of Mayor Thomas A. Masters proclaiming March 24, 2019 as Journey of Return Day in celebration of the church's 92nd Holy Convocation. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Madam Manager, I would like to add the for community benefits, the Florida A&M University Alumni Chapter for its college tour to support 20 students on a one-day trip to, they're going to do a tour of the campuses, the local campuses in Tallahassee. It is $2,500 to support 20 students. I would also like to add the St. George's Center, who's responsible for feeding some of our most vulnerable citizens, in the amount of $1,000. And $1,550 to be transferred interdepartmentally to the Departments of Parks and Recreation to assist with our basketball and other program activities over there.
Madam Chair,
So those items will be item number, let's see, from 5J. You have it, Madam City Clerk? Okay.
Madam Chair.
I think I did that wrong. 1 second. Councilwoman Botel, you recognize?
I would simply like to voice a strong objection to the expenditure of so many of the waste management community benefits dollars this close to an election.
Thank you for that opposition.
Madam Manager, Madam
Mr.
Chair,
Mayor, you recognize?
I wanted to contribute. I haven't spoken to my chief of staff, so I don't know whether she's in office or not, but if we need to get the paperwork. But the Mothers Against Murderers Association is doing great work in Riviera Beach with these young people, with the families of young people that have been murdered. And I'm a big supporter of Mothers Against Murderers. There's over 400 mothers, and they're doing great things. So I would like to, have to get rid of, all of us have to get rid of all of our benefit monies tonight, because if we do not, it doesn't roll over. So I need to.
No, we don't.
So I want to contribute. I want to give $1,500 to the Mothers Against Murderers Association. I'd like to add that added.
Doesn't roll over.
It does not. The monies do not roll over.
They do not roll
I have
over.
a question. We're not having another meeting this month?
Yes, ma'am, as far
Okay.
as I know, March
You can
20th.
do it when you want to do.
March
Go
20th.
ahead, let the mayor finish so I can.
I have finished. I just wanted to contribute $1,500 to Mothers Against Murderers Association. There may be another meeting this month, but it's not guaranteed that I'm going to be here. Any of us may be here, so I need to do what I need to do now while I am the mayor of this great city.
Madam Chair.
Chair Pro Tem, you recognize?
I don't understand the councilwoman's objection with us giving community benefits out, whether it's close to an election or not. Number one is our choice, and number two, these are viable requests made from community program that each and every one of us here have contributed to. Now, what I find myself is putting together a folder that says pending, and if there is something left, I try to divide it between the different organizations, and especially those that either are new or not have come before me requesting any funds. But I don't think that anybody on this list, from AIDS to homelessness, is should be denied. It has nothing to do, their need. Preventing AIDS or homelessness has nothing to do with an election. It is still something that needs to be supported in this community.
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman Botel, you recognize?
at some future meeting, I intend to make a proposal that the community benefits dollars made available to us by virtue of the waste management contract be pooled and that we assign them collectively. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Miller Anderson, you recognize?
Okay, Ms. Hoskins, we are scheduled for a meeting on the 20th, right? Because the reason I'm asking, I didn't put any through tonight because I will do it for the last meeting of March, because I do know they have to be dispensed before the end of March, but we do have a 20th meeting, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Madam
Okay.
Chair.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Davis, you recognize?
thank you. I just have two community benefits add-ons for programs that I've supported in the past. One is for Suncoast Girls Track and Field Team, and the other's for St. James Mentor Program, Mighty Men and Mighty Women. The nonprofit status is already on file. These are programs I continuously give to. Right now, I don't know the available balance what I have left. I just want to split it evenly between the two organizations.
Madam
The
Chair.
balance you want, I'm sorry,
I
Madam
don't know
Chair.
what the balance is, but whatever it is, I just want to split it evenly between the two organizations.
And just for clarification and correction, it would be $1,050 going to Parks and Recreation from District 3. Chair Pro Tem, you recognize?
Miss, Madam Chair, while the councilwoman probably thinks she knows what's best for everybody's district and for what all of these community, some of these initiatives, each of us are more intimately aware of the work that they have been doing. While that might be a request that the councilwoman thinks that we need to pool, but our districts have different needs and the community have different needs. So these are some things that we have worked with people and people have come to us to show what they have done for this community. So that's just what that'll be, I guess, a suggestion.
Madam Chair.
Okay. Let's move on with the adoption of
Well,
the
Madam
agenda.
Chair, I have
I
a
have
question
an
about,
Mr.
have others.
Mr. Davis, you recognize?
I just had another addition on the presentations. We have for March 16th, we have a military fun run walk here in Riviera Beach. Not this Saturday, but the following Saturday at Parks and Rec. We'll be presenting on the presentations. And the other item would be just noise ordinance as a discussion item about the loud music and loud cars that ride through neighborhoods. I'd like to get an update from the chief of police so we can address this issue.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Miller Anderson, you recognize?
So before the end of the meeting, can we get the amount for Mr. Davis's balance so that we just have it?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
I
I'll
want to
I'll
know
ask
what I'm
finance
doing.
to see if they can compile that information.
Okay.
You have it?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Mayor, you
I've
recognize?
asked my chief of staff to assist me for a second because I was rushing. I didn't get my glasses in. So I do want to correct a couple add-ons for the donations. Debbie, what is this one for?
Nelson's Outreach Ministries.
And that's 1,000, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we had said 500, but that should be upped to 1,000. Okay, come on.
Washington Elementary School, 500.
What, I'm sorry. The Nelson
Instead of
Outreach.
500, I'm giving 1,000. I just need to correct a couple things. And the Washington Elementary School,
500.
500, I think that was said. I just want to make sure because this is all my money, their monies rather.
Operation Hope, 800.
I'm giving $800 to Operation Hope, who's doing a fantastic job in the Riviera Beach and Palm Beach County area with Ken Bowers. All right.
And Mothers Against Murder.
And then I've already stated Mothers Against Murderers, and we're giving, what, 15?
1,500.
$1,500, Madam Chair. Also, the add-on, if you're asking for add-ons, I have 3 appointments to reappoint, rather, to the Riviera Beach Housing Authority, and I need to do that at that appointment time.
Madam Chair,
Madam Clerk.
the mayor stated earlier about a correction for community benefit for Operation Hope. And I do not see that listed on the addition and deletion sheet. Is that another
Yes,
addition?
I'm adding it right now.
What was that dollar amount?
Dollar amount, Operation
800.
800. And I need to make a correction. I said I may not be here for the next meeting, but I plan to be here. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Madam Manager.
the current balance in councilperson's T.D. Davis community benefits is $2,246.73. So he said he's gonna split that amount 50-50, so that'll be 1,100 $23 for each organization. That's
36 cents.
$1,123 for each organization.
Does that complete the additions and deletions? Are there any disclosures by council? Request a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second. Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Davis,
Yes.
Councilperson Botel, Councilperson Miller Anderson, Pro Tem Hubbard, Chair Davis Johnson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
All matters listed under this item are considered to be routine and action will be taken by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the council person so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Are there any items to be pulled from the agenda? Hearing none, may I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and properly second. Do we have any public comment cards for the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, we do have public comment cards for the public, for the consent agenda. The acceptance of public comment cards for the consent agenda is now closed. Lloyd Brown.
Madam Chair, excuse me, while he's coming, if
May
I
be
have,
recognized.
thank you. If I have any money left over, I would like to contribute the rest to what you did to for the homeless. They feed the people, and I want to get rid of all of it and give it to the people who are feeding the homeless and the veterans, if I have money left over.
Madam, what,
Madam Manager,
what organization is he mentioning?
it was
It's the same one, the chair,
St. George, okay.
St. George.
St. George.
It's the only one that's feeding the homeless that I know of. I think she said I have 1,000, I'm sorry.
Hello, my name is Lloyd Brown. I guess you know that. And I was looking at this thing about, naming these streets after these preachers, And actually, honestly, I don't think that's right to do it with the taxpayer money. Because, my sister, she worked at the park for a while, and all these individuals that grew up at this park, they now have jobs, and they got kids who are doing pretty good. But I don't see y'all talking about naming a street after Beverly Brown. And honestly, it's a lot of churches in Riviera Beach. Are we gonna have, everybody that's got a church gonna have a street named by them? I don't see anything actually that these people are putting back into the neighborhood. And I'm gonna be honest, I just don't. They make the most, they got the most, but they do the least. And you can have programs going on, but a lot of these programs that are going on don't affect the whole neighborhood. And I really don't see any reason to change 34th Street because we got to pay for it. They don't just go out there and the signs just come up like you just mash a button and all the signs will say, oh, this so-and-so street. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in you putting these preacher names on these streets because preachers haven't done that much for the city. And I don't think, and that's what other people ask me. A lot of things that I come up here and say, people be asking me, they ask me, when are you going to be over there? Because we want to see you. Because the things I say is down to earth, And another thing, you putting a preacher name on there, well, tell them to put a bus stop on the corner, because, tell them to do something else that wear the show. Religion, you got so many different religions, it doesn't make a difference when it comes to politics. Because religions don't get together. Muslims don't like Baptists don't like, Protestants, and then you got some people who atheists or whatever. So, you're going to put it up there, a preacher, because what political thing by putting this man's name on the street is it going to do? All it does is take money out of the taxpayer money. You could be putting that into the water plant. You could be putting a lot of these things that you give in the water plant and different things. The streets, I don't even think you should name any more streets after the preacher. People have a hard time anyway finding their way around Riviera Beach. But the bottom line, what I'm trying to say is, I don't think it's right. And a lot of people I talk to in the streets, you think a lot of things I say are coming from me. It's not coming from me. See, I put my feet on the ground. I'm not even elected. And I go and ask people what they think, and they tell me. And that's why I come over here and tell you what I tell you. And, one person was saying, it's not a black and white thing, when I talk and I say I'm for my people. What I'm trying to say is this. I won't say a black and white thing. It's the ones who will do for you and the ones who don't then. And it's just like Ms. Votel done for me, and the other people didn't. So that's all. She's a good lady, and that's all I can say. Maybe the blacks didn't.
Does that conclude?
Madam Chair, that completes public comments on the consent agenda.
Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilperson Botel.
Yes.
Councilperson Miller Anderson.
Yes.
Pro Tem Hubbard. Chair Davis Johnson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Any person who would like to speak on an agenda item, please fill out a public comment card and give it to the staff prior to the item being presented to City Council for discussion. Members of the public will be given 3 minutes to speak on each regular agenda item. In no event will anyone be allowed to submit a comment card and speak on an agenda item after the resolution is read or the item is considered. Public comments shall begin at 7:30 p.m. unless there is no further business of the City Council, which in that event it shall begin sooner. In addition, if an item is being considered at 7:30 p.m., then comments from the public shall begin immediately after the item has been concluded. Any person who would like to speak during public comments, please fill out a public comment card located on the table directly outside of the council chambers and give it to the staff before the public comment section is announced. Petitions and communications for filing.
None.
Awards and presentations.
Presentation regarding lightning detection systems in City of Riviera Beach Parks.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager, Richard Blankenship, Parks and Recreation Director. Wanted to take a few minutes to inform you and inform the community about the lightning detection systems that we've installed at Barracuda Bay, Wells, and Dan Calloway. These detection systems, as we're headed into spring and we're going to have lightning, once they go off, the residents are going to know what in the world is going on, because they are loud, they're supposed to be loud. They are visible, they're supposed to be visible. But part of the success of having them is to educate everybody on what it means and what you should do. So if you'll indulge me, I'm going to play a short video here. Along with the installation of the equipment, we will have signage that will tell the public in the parks on what they need to, where they need to go, what they need to do. Here's an example of the sign. It'll be at each of the locations. It tells them where to go. It tells them what to avoid. And bottom line is, if you hear it, clear it. Get out of the way. We've been very lucky. And we don't like playing with fire. These systems are not foolproof. You know, but you have to use the technology that you have available. And with that said, I'll answer any questions that the council may or may have.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor, you recognized?
Yes, name the facilities where they'll be again. I know you
Barracuda Bay,
Okay.
Wells Recreation Complex, and Dan Calloway Park.
Okay. Hasn't been any discussion as far as the City Hall, this property?
Well, you'll be able to hear it from Wells.
From
City
Wells.
Hall will be covered.
I'm going to ask the city manager to look into what type of warning system that we have in this building if anything goes down. That I know something about the phones or the computers or something, but I would like to get an update as to what we have, unless you already know, in case of an emergency and terrorists or anything that people need to get out the building and get out immediately. So if you would look into that, Madam Manager, I would appreciate it.
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman Botel, you recognize.
thank you. What constitutes an unsafe distance? Two questions, actually, that's the first.
Well, we can set that however we want. The industry standard is 8 miles.
Okay. Is there any thought to putting one of these at the municipal beach on
There
Sanger
is,
Island?
we've been in discussion with Fire Rescue about the possibility of doing that.
Thank you.
Any additional questions from council?
Madam Chair,
Councilman Davis, you recognize.
just a statement. I just want to say thank you to Parks and Rec staff
Yeah.
for a job well done. This is something that's been needed for many years as we have our youth programs, our community programs where, you know, we're in an area where weather definitely changes really fast. And thank God that we haven't had an opportunity where we had to address this issue. So now I'm glad to see someone being proactive with protecting our community. Thank you so much.
And I need to give kudos to Mr. Payne, Recreation Coordinator, Mr. Souter, Aquatic Superintendent, for pushing this issue.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Madam Clerk.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor, you recognize.
Yes. What are there any plans as to getting the word out to the neighbors in sending out literature or a
We'll
mailer or something?
We'll do some literature, we'll do TV 18, we'll do the website. Believe it or not, we're coming fast on football registration. That'll be in all the registration packets and all that kind of stuff.
Would you also include press release to the
Yeah.
to the press? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Clerk.
Proclamation from the Office of the Mayor.
Are you ready, Mr. Mayor?
I don't know. I'm ready, but I don't see the chief of staff. Would you come back to it? Do we have? I don't know. Just come back to it. Is anyone here from the church, the house? Just come back to me, Madam Chair.
Public hearings, Madam Clerk.
Madam Chair, we have one more presentation that was added on by Councilperson Davis, a presentation by the Parks and Recreation Department.
On March 16th, we will be hosting the Army Reserve at Wells Recreation Complex. They're coming over with about 200 soldiers and doing their physical training, and then a 2-mile run through Riviera Beach. The purpose of the event, which was the idea of the Army Reserve, is just to become more familiar with the community that they reside, and to promote health and fitness, and also to do a little recruiting to see if there's some kids in the community that are interested in the military. So Saturday, March 16th, 7 a.m. There will be on-site registration. No need to register beforehand, and it should be done no later than 8:30 or 9 p.m. We'll have water stations. We'll have snacks and that kind of stuff. Police department will be assisting, and again, that they're going to do this like they would do it on a normal Saturday morning. So as we progress through the city, they will take charge and make sure it's safe for everybody, and it should be an interesting morning.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Davis, you recognize.
Just want to add a little bit to this. This is this initiative that as we want to focus on, it does say run, but it's also, it says fun, run, and walk. So we want folks from throughout the community to come out and participate for this event. It's going to start at Wells. It's going to go northbound on H Avenue West, and then 34th Street, go east to E Avenue, and then come back around 29th and back over. And the soldiers have already started preparing a Riviera Beach chant, something positive for our community as you walk and you hear the running in your neighborhoods. They're asking you to join in for where you are if you don't make it to the registration booth, whether you're walking, whether you're running. The junior ROTC at Palm Beach Gardens and Dwyer High School is trying to find it fit in their schedules to come out and do a demonstration. They would bring out a lot of the military equipment, tanks, trucks, vehicles for our young ladies and young women and young men in this city to look at military as a particular instrument. We talk about going to college, but we also have other opportunities for our community. So this will be the first time that this has ever been done in the nation. We have confirmed 250 soldiers in Riviera Beach that are excited about the event. I have received that the governor is considering, because he will be in Miami on that Friday, and he's looking at his schedule to see if he can make it. He's not making any guarantees, but he's definitely has Riviera Beach on his radar for this on March 16th.
I'll
But it's
answer
a
any
fun
questions.
run walk.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Blankenship? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, your proclamation.
Madam Chair, I'm going to ask my eyes tonight to read this until I can get some reading glasses from a man in the room. Thank you.
All right. Proclamation from the Office of the Mayor, City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, honoring Bishop C.M. Bailey's 10 years of leadership and his visionary journey of return. Whereas the United House of Prayer for All People, located at 3333 Avenue I, on July 13, 1996, was established as a beacon of light in the Riviera Beach community. In 2009, Bishop C.M. Bailey was elevated by God and appointed prophet and chief executive leader over 137 congregations of the United House of Prayer throughout the United States. And whereas Bishop Bailey launched his 10-year vision for the church, The Journey of Return, which calls for all members to return to where God is greater in every aspect of daily life and worship, thereby, according to the bishop, strengthens the importance of giving God everything. And whereas this visionary program inspires membership to recommit to participating in auxiliary service, increase attendance in church, and to Sunday school studies to show themselves approved. And whereas Journey of Return is primarily about the children who are the future church, Bishop Bailey encourages adults to be committed to adhere to the Word of God by training up each child to model behavior that reflects services unto God. And whereas under the illustrious leadership of Bishop Bailey, and with the financial support of the United House of Prayer family, the McAuliffe Theological Seminary, McAuliffe Scholarship College Fund, and the St. Lady D. Madison Scholastic Achievement Award programs are all among the many endeavors Bishop Bailey fosters for the fulfillment of spiritual grounding, academic achievement, and career success in the church.
In witness, now therefore, the mayor without glasses, now therefore be it resolved that I, and I'm really happy to give this to Bishop Bailey. Bishop, how are you? Elder, Bishop, Prophet, Pope? Elder Williams. Okay, let me start over. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Bishop Thomas A. Masters, Mayor of the City of Riviera Beach, Florida, by the power vested in me by the residents of this great city, I do hereby proclaim, what is that, March the 24th, 2019, as the Journey of Return Day. And you're talking about me returning day? Oh, your return day, I'm sorry. Return Day in celebration of the church 92nd Holy Convocation. I know that word. Convocation in the city of Riviera Beach, Florida. Witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official, I could do this on this, the official seal of the city of Riviera Beach to be affixed on the 6th day of March, 2019 AD. Bishop Thomas A. Masters, Mayor Claudine Anthony, City Clerk. Elder Williams, would you have brief words at this time? Yes. You can't preach, but just a little bit. Just a couple words.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening. We give honor tonight for the Most High God. We thank him for all that he has done for us. The purpose of this honoring is that we want to honor everyone, that we need to turn to the values that God is the aspect of our daily lives. So this is the reason why we come to render this proclamation for the work that the United House of Prayer is doing throughout the country. We have 129 edifices throughout the country, and we're doing the work everywhere. So we ask for your prayers that we continue to do the work that please the community and to be better citizens as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, let's give the elder a hand. Is that, where's the church? Excuse me, where's the church located?
Our church is just down the street, 3333 Avenue Y.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. I proclaim this day, and you're doing a great job. And if I don't have a job, I'm coming to join your church.
Well, we look forward to it. Thank you. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome, Mr. Mayor.
Madam
Clerk.
Chair, we're now on to item number 7, ordinance number 4130, an ordinance of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, amending Chapter 14, Article 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Riviera Beach relating to the General Employees Pension Plan, amending Section 14-26 to permit the payment of accumulated leave to the city manager, providing for severability of provisions, providing for publication, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
Is there a motion?
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second. Do we have any public comment cards?
Madam Chair, we do not have any public comment cards on this item. The acceptance of public comment cards on this item is now closed.
Any questions or comments from the board? Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Botel,
Yes.
Councilperson Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Pro Tem Hubbard, Councilperson Davis,
Yes, ma'am.
Chair Davis Johnson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote. Ordinance number 4131, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, abandoning the undeveloped right-of-way known as Perry Street, a 40-foot wide strip of land, being a portion of corrected plat of the 3rd Acre Home Park addition to Kelsey City, as recorded in Plat Book 15, page 17 of the Public Records of Palm Beach County, Florida, and lying in Section 29, Township 42, Range 43 East, containing approximately 18,905.27 square feet, adjacent to and surrounded by the real property addressed as 1621 West Blue Heron Boulevard, parcel control number 5643422904 0070181, providing for severability and conflicts and providing for an effective date. Madam Chair, we do not have any public comment cards on this item. The acceptance of public comment cards on this item is now closed.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second. Mr. Gagnon, good evening.
Good evening, Jeff Gagnon, Acting Director of Development Services. As read into the record, you have before you the second reading of this ordinance associated with the abandonment of right-of-way. As we discussed during the February 20th City Council meeting, this right-of-way was associated with the approved site plan for Fire Station 2 as well as the Barracuda Bay Complex. Just once again for the record, as shown before Council, the area denoted in blue is the impacted right-of-way area that's proposed to be abandoned, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions from the board? Chair Pro Tem, you're recognized.
Mr. Gagnon, can you remind us of what you were saying about the access from, I guess, the path from the school that was being used, or whether or not it was being used? Can you remind us
Yeah.
of the point that was being made with that?
We do have a photo. I think there was conversation during the last meeting that the right-of-way area was used as access to the adjacent school. There is a chain link fence, however, that prohibits access through this right-of-way, as you can see by the school bus area. So there is no direct access from the adjacent roadway to the school.
Any further questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Councilperson Botel,
Yes.
Councilperson Davis,
Yes, ma'am.
Pro Tem Hubbard,
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote. Madam Chair, we're down to item number 9, resolution number 1219, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, authorizing the purchase of essential data storage hardware in order to increase the performance and capacity of outdated information technology infrastructure, and in order to strengthen the city's resiliency to potential data loss and downtime potentially caused by storm events and natural disasters through an installment payment agreement with E Plus Group, Inc. for 3 annual payments of $266,139.59, totaling $798,418.77 by utilizing available contracts from other government entities as previously authorized by City Council through Resolution Number 11917, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute said agreement, authorizing the Director of Finance and Administrative Services to make payment accordingly, and providing for an effective date. Madam Chair, we do not have any public comment cards on this item. The acceptance of public comment cards on this item is now closed.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second. Good evening, Mr. Williams.
Good evening again. How are we doing, everyone? Thank you for your time today.
And Madam Chair, if I may,
Madam Manager.
this item was presented to you all during the last meeting, and we found out that there was where a motion wasn't actually made, so this is just to clean up the record. If you would go ahead and make the motion, and or unless you want to see the presentation again, we'll be glad to show you the presentation.
I did so well last time with my.
Try to, go ahead, go ahead.
We need a motion. Well, we do have a motion in a second. Does anyone need to hear the presentation again?
I mean, is it a brief presentation?
Brief.
Okay, please do.
Do it.
Please do. We have new people here. That wasn't the last meeting, so.
So this is for, sorry, let me get closer there. So this is for city data storage, replacement, and disaster recovery implementation. So all things that are much needed in the city. So City Riviera Beach is in need of increasing our storage capacity, update disaster recovery capabilities for on-site and off-site availability at all times, cybersecurity increases, and high availability, failover, redundancy, and connectivity. So the City of Riviera Beach currently utilizes 3 storage devices. 3 storage devices we are using. 89% of our available storage capacity currently. Why we need the upgrade: our current storage devices were bought in 2012. The standard lifespan is 5 to 7 years in the industry. The devices are past their useful life. The storage device company actually stopped supporting the devices that we use on December 28th, 2018. So it's old technology. It's slowing down production. It also causes downtime for city services, email, file services, things like that, everything. So the City of Riviera Beach is currently using an ineffective backup solution. The current backup solution is not an enterprise solution for a city our size. We've outgrown it. Our current backup solution is more susceptible to security concerns such as ransomware and things like that. The proposed new backup solution is an industry leader in the protection against these type of things like viruses, ransomware, things like that. It saves the city time, money, and reputation in the event of such an attack on the city's data. The new backup solution will improve the city's ability to meet the retention needs of the city moving forward as well. Now, our current disaster recovery is involves backing up the city's data and copying it to the cloud. Why we need to upgrade: if we face natural disasters, we are not adequately prepared to recover in a timely manner. The new disaster recovery solution would give the city the ability to rebound critical infrastructure very quickly. This configuration will greatly increase the city's public safety divisions, police, fire, always a good thing, the availability of work in a disaster event. The city's data will be backed up and stored on our servers and not on a company's cloud to minimize the monthly costs that the city pays out to our vendors. And the benefits for a proposed storage backup and disaster recovery solution increases our storage capacity to better meet the needs of the city, improves our ability to back up and recover the hardware and data failures, minimizes the downtime for everyone in the city, email, and the data, greatly increases the security and availability of the city's data, increases the retention time for backups, increases the retention time from the backups while minimizing the city's recurring monthly costs. And that's it.
Are there any additional questions for Mr. Williams with regards to this item? Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilperson Botel.
Yes.
Councilperson Miller Anderson.
Yes.
Pro Tem Hubbard.
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson. Unanimous vote.
Thank you
Great
very
job.
much, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Madam Chair, that completes our regular agenda. We do have board appointments that the mayor added to the agenda that can occur at this time.
Mr. Mayor?
Madam Chair, thank you. I would like to reappoint Delvin Thomas. He is the current chairman of the Riviera Beach Housing Authority. He's done a great job. As you know, we have a 107-bed facility that's being built as we speak, shoveling the ground, and it's going up. And this has been on Delvin's watch. And because of the contracts and all that's involved, it's important to keep him on board, that there be no change, that there will not be any changes with the Housing Authority in order that we can keep our time schedule scheduled as we're doing this project. Jeffrey Jackson, who is presently serving as the vice chair, and Jessica Thurman, who's the resident commissioner. One of the things, Madam Chair, that I have insisted that the Housing Authority, anything that I have anything to do with, be integrated. I've fought segregation and all of my life, and it's important that these boards represent the entire community, black and white. And so I've always insisted, give me an integrated board. And for not just for that, but it's good to have different ideas from different parts of the city and make sure that the board is reflective of the entire city, the population. I've got good input from others that this young man from Singer Island would be a big plus to the board, so I am adding him as well to the board, and his name is Glenn Spiritus. Lives at 554 North Ocean Drive, and his credentials are impeccable and amazing. He has great expertise and experience in urban and environmental studies, Long PD, from the Long Island University School of Administration Supervision. And he also has a certification, and I'm done, from New York State Permanent Social Studies teacher, but also principal to superintendent of New York State Civil Service exam as city planner. So now the Housing Authority will have a planner as well. He would be a great asset to the board, and I'm asking the council to accept the appointment of the mayor, Mr. Glenn Spiritus.
Is there a motion?
Ma'am?
Second. Madam Attorney, we do need a motion to approve those board appointments.
Yes.
All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Davis, you recognized?
Thank you. So that appointment that's being requested for, who would this gentleman be replacing?
There's just it's a vacancy now. It's just a vacancy on the board, and
It's been that way for a while, or?
No, has it?
Yeah, Mr. Gady resigned.
Mr. Gady resigned,
okay,
so
okay.
we're replacing him.
Okay. One other thing, I'd just like to say, it's great we got someone new on the board. To Mr. Jackson, Ms. Thurman, and Delvin Thomas, they have done a wonderful job with providing a safe haven, something that we haven't had in a very long time, which is over 100 units of senior housing. That community, that corridor has been missed out on opportunities for many years, and we got a shovel in the ground. We recently got the rooftop topping off event, and they're way ahead of schedule. They have said that our staff have done a wonderful job with the permitting process, and the city has been cooperating very well. I think that's a story that, you know, that may not get out, that needs to get out, is that we have a development that's ahead of schedule, on time, and they're saying great things about Riviera Beach. And now we don't no longer have to allow some of our seniors to get a certain age and leave our community. Now we can keep them here. And I want to say, as a staff, a wonderful job. And Mayor, I think you did a good job with that appointment, with those two gentlemen bringing in stability for quite some time with Mr. Jackson and Mr. Thomas and Ms. Thurman. So now we have a new addition, and I'm sure that he can fall in line with the great leadership that we have in place.
Thank you, Councilman.
Madam Clerk.
Councilperson Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilperson Botel.
Yes.
Councilperson Miller Anderson.
Yes.
Pro Tem Hubbard.
Yes.
Chair Davis Johnson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Public comments should be restricted to issues, matters, or topics pertinent to the City of Riviera Beach. Please be reminded that the City Council has adopted rules of decorum governing public conduct during official meetings, which has been posted at the entrance of the council chamber. In an effort to preserve order, if any of the rules are not adhered to, the chairperson may have any disruptive speaker or attendee removed from the podium, from the meeting, and/or the building if necessary. Please govern yourselves accordingly.
Madam Chair, the acceptance of public comment cards at this time is now closed. Sarah Goodman, Katie Rubendo, Mary Beth Coffer.
Thank you. My name is Sarah Goodman. I live at the Marina Grande condominium at 2640 Lakeshore Drive. City Council members, Mayor Masters, City Manager Karen Hoskins, and City Attorney Dawn Wynn. I hope I can say all of this in 3 minutes, but if it takes 45 seconds more, I hope you'll indulge me, because I'm trying to do everything I can not to sue Riviera Beach. As you all know, a month ago, on February 6th, I brought an appeal of an erroneous legal interpretation of our city code's off-site parking laws that are designed to protect the lives of Riviera Beach pedestrians and motorists. This interpretation was from Jeff Gagnon in the course of questions raised by the Planning and Zoning Board at the third site plan application review of 7 Kings Crab Pot site plan application. The P&Z Board rejected the site plan for the second time at that meeting by a tie vote of 3-3. My appeal is brought pursuant to Riviera Beach's Development Magistrate statute, which mandates the following of Mr. Gagnon. Quote, the Community Development Director from whom the appeal is taken shall, upon notification by the Community Development Department of the filing of the appeal and prior to the hearing date, transmit to the Development Special Magistrate all papers and materials constituting the record of the action, together with any materials supporting the decision. He did not transmit my appeal, and you know that he did so on the basis that I hadn't paid $2,000 in inapplicable filing and publication notice fees. There is no fee schedule pertaining to special magistrate hearings or to my appeal as required by the statute. Yesterday evening at 5:38, Mr. Gagnon sent me a memo from the Assistant City Attorney dated February 28th in which she opines that I do not have legal standing, and she recommended to Mr. Gagnon that he, Mr. Gagnon, the person from whom I'm appealing an erroneous interpretation, reject my appeal, not on the basis of not paying $2,000 in fees, but rather on the basis that I don't have legal standing to bring the appeal. So your Assistant City Attorney has recommended to Mr. Gagnon that he determine that I do not have the right to bring my appeal of his erroneous, unlawful interpretation of our code safety provisions. The Assistant City Attorney has elevated Mr. Gagnon to be the lawmaker, the judge, and the jury on whether I have a right to appeal. You don't have to be a lawyer to know that there's something really, really dysfunctional about this. I've never said that I don't have to have standing. That's why I very clearly laid out meticulously several bases on which I have standing, which the Development Special Magistrate can and should determine that I do indeed have legal standing. The City Attorney, of course, can argue to the Development Special Magistrate that I don't. I just want to, I know I'm going to run out of my time in 24 seconds, but I just want to give you a real-world example. Think about this. If any one of you thought that the Palm Beach Post had libeled you in their paper and you brought a libel action against them, do you think that the writer of the article and the counsel for the Post can decide whether you have the right to bring the action, whether you're timely, whether you're in the right court, or any other legal issue having to do with the case. Of course they can't. I've requested Mayor Masters and Ms. Hoskins for you to direct Mr. Gagnon to transmit my appeal, and I expect the response to that request to be forthcoming. Thank you.
Katie Rubando.
This is the, this is the memorandum that I got from Mr. Gagnon. I'd like it entered into the record for tonight. Thank you.
I'd like a copy of it too, please.
Katie Rubando. Mary Beth Coffer.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Madam Attorney, come on.
Has that been the process of the council?
When we've had a public hearing, this is just public comments.
No.
Right, under public comment, no.
No.
Right.
Katie Rubando. Mary Beth Coffer. Lloyd Brown.
Council, city manager, city attorney, clerk, Mayor Masters.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here tonight because I am representing myself and 90 neighbors and friends of Sarah Goodman in supporting her appeal to be heard by the Development Special Magistrate. The idea that she does not have standing when it comes to public safety issues involving a major intersection and development in Riviera Beach is absolutely ludicrous. I don't know how someone that would be defending and representing the city of Riviera Beach in front of that magistrate can also make the determination whether she can go before said magistrate. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I would like to enter into the record tonight a group of unofficial petitions signed by 90 of my neighbors who also feel that they have standing and would gladly join Sarah in any suit against the city of Riviera Beach. And thank you very much, and thank you, Mayor Masters, for coming to visit us yesterday.
You're welcome.
Lloyd Brown. Horace Towns.
Hey, I have
Dolores.
something to say about the, you can leave that in ad 3. I want to say this, you know, when I came into these, like they had the little discussions, the council about the debate, and when I heard the individual, I mean, he's a scholar, he went to college and all that, he asked the people and he said he had an X up there and he had a plus, and he had a, so what got me was this, when you all showed the X's, he just threw the mayor under the bus when he said, I'm not talking about this mayor now. That's not even, that doesn't even make sense for this man to have all these brains. He didn't understand what he was doing. I mean, the mayor didn't have anything to do with that. They just asked, does a mayor that comes to Riviera Beach or a mayor of Riviera Beach, they don't have to say, I'm not talking about Masters. So that means that he's throwing the man under the bus. I mean, I'm not saying that I like the man or hate the man or whatever. That doesn't have anything to do with it. I don't think that was right for this man. You know, Alpha and all that, I'm not even into that. I think it's another cult to me, so don't tell me about college, because I was in the military, and you know, it wasn't no sororities or none of that in the military. You either went there to die or you kept yourself alive. And I mean, honestly, I didn't think that was right. And then a lot of things that I hear over here, like you told this lady that she couldn't take the 3 minutes. Well, you did it before over there. I think, unless I was dreaming or sleeping, you did it before. You let somebody use the 3 minutes. I don't know why she couldn't talk. I mean, and then you're getting all these lawsuits, and you're still drinking bottled water, aren't you? And that tells you something right there. You know what? I didn't put no lotion on my hand. Nobody I washed them with the water, and look at them. They turning gray. I mean, you spend all this money, like the one lady said on the marina, you talking about bringing tourists in, but you don't care nothing about the people. And I'm going to get back to this white and black thing. It's not a white and black thing. It's a concerned individual and an unconcerned individual. And the only thing I could say, when I went to this lady with my problem, she done something about it. And I've been going to all these unconcerned, Negroes. I've been going to them, and they haven't done anything. All they did was tell me what they're going to do. I know you're ready to say something to me. I went to you first, so don't even pull the mic to your face. That just make you embarrassed. And then, you know what? The Warriors are losing, and the Lakers are too. And next week is going to be some more people losing, isn't it?
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Davis, you're recognized.
I just want to address the fact that there's been numerous people on this council for many years that tried to assist the young man that came to the mic. And the last time staff went out to help, they were cursed at and kicked off the property.
Mr. Mayor, you're
Tried our job.
Yeah, just briefly, I want to.
No, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown.
No, you know it's true.
You never came out, you never said that.
Mr. Brown.
Kick me out of here. But don't you get up here and lie about me. You know you never came out. I told you when it first started. I told Hubbard.
I have witnesses.
You have not came out there. You haven't. You can ask my neighbors. Why don't you go ask them? Yes, BS you talking. Yeah, pull me out, because you know what? This man's a liar. He's a liar, y'all. Don't vote for him.
Mr. Brown, you know better.
No, you know better.
Madam Chair.
Mr.
No, but he cussed staff.
Mr. Mayor, point of order, please.
The statement that he made about the gentleman he thought that was throwing me under the bus. I just want to respond. They throw me on the bus all the time, but I know how to get back on my feet and go forward. So don't worry about it.
Thank you, Mr.
Don't worry about it. I'm good. I'm fine.
Horace Towns, Dolores Dawson, Amon Israel.
Sometimes they treat me so bad, but I'm okay. I'm going to go
Mr. Mayor,
on anyhow.
Mr. Mayor, come on.
All right, order in the court. Okay. Horace Towns, Riviera Beach. Tonight I'm speaking as a resident, not as a candidate for District 1 in Riviera Beach. Next week we have an election, and I estimate that the dais will change. I say this to the community and the people that watch at home, because a lot of people tune in. If we say that we want better, we have to require better and more from the people that are running for office. I had someone today say, Horace, I think you're the best candidate in that race, but so-and-so is my friend. That's why we're in the situation we're in. We have to step away from the tradition of picking people that are our friends. They don't have qualifications, and this isn't targeted at any one candidate, but we have to do better. The council, which I believe should be separated, is the council, the utility board, and the CRA board. The people that you elect control millions of taxpayer dollars. So when they take out a loan or they do some wasteful spending, we pay for it. We're the one that pay for the mistakes that the boards have made in the past. I personally believe as a taxpayer, Ms. Anderson had a leadership academy that I was unable to attend, but I think that's the first step for people that want to run for office in our community. I believe that you should sit on a board. I was appointed to the housing board, and I'm gonna miss that board.
I appointed you, right?
Yeah, but I'm gonna miss that board because that board has done some tremendous things to move this city forward, the first affordable housing in 30, 40 years. But I said all that to say, there are people that can get off a couch and say, I'm running for office. And as a taxpayer, as a homeowner, as a resident, I believe that is a problem. I believe that you should get involved, volunteer, get on a board, really fully understand the duties that come with the responsibilities that you're seeking. I personally believe that if we have to do financial disclosures, I believe that we should have to give disclosure about our past. Everyone makes mistakes, but I do believe that that is something that should be something that could be considered by the public. But again, March 12th, we have an election, and I'm just asking the people to move this city forward. Your vote is valuable. You have different groups. You got a bus, you got another group. But every group, I believe, this election is about control. This election will change our city one way or another. And I'm asking everyone at home to vote for someone who's for the people. Thank you.
He that is without sin cast the first stone.
Dolores Dawson, 669 West 6th Street in Riviera Beach, Florida. The nice little city that I've lived since 1959. I'm here on behalf of the Southside Coalition and its concerned brothers to acknowledge our gratitude to those who have chaired and helped us throughout the year. And we had a wonderful Christmas program, you can tell by our program. We want to thank Ms. Tanya Davis Johnson for feeding us and always there for us, always helping us. We want to thank Torrance Davis for our beautiful Christmas tree and always there to share and help us. We appreciate that. We want to thank Bruce Guidington and Mr. Cedric Thomas for their help. They helped us quite a bit. We want to thank Mrs. Hubbard and Ms. Anderson for always encouraging us. That makes us work harder. We're old, but we don't mind working. And we want to thank the City of Riviera for all they have done for us, the Riviera Beach Fire Department, Riviera Beach Police Department, Riviera Beach Public Work, Riviera Beach Parks and Recreation Department, and Mr. Blankenshire. We thank Hope Gentry, Pascal Reed, Alex Freeman, the CRA, and Mrs. Jenkins. We thank Santa and his helpers. And we thank all of you. We have a group of men who chair with us named Team from Delray, and we want to thank them. We thank you all for what you have done for us, and we hope you will continue to do for us. Mrs. Hopkins, we thank you for always cheering us along. And we thank you for, I've lived in the city, and I have a small business since 1984. I'm proud to be a member, proud to live in Riviera, to work, live, and play. God bless you all, and we look forward for you all helping us again. Mrs. Davis, you know we love you, and we know you'll be there for us. Thank you so very much.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Mayor again.
You forgot that refrigerator.
Oh.
Don't leave me out. Don't forget about it.
Oh, let me just tell y'all. About 4 years ago, our frigidaire had broke down. So we needed a frigidaire, and I think we came to the city council, and Reverend Masters decided he would take us to, what was it? Badcock. And they gave us a beautiful black refrigerator for our children. We only use it for our children during the summer. So we never use it for my men in my apartment, only the children. And we
they want to
thank you all.
forget me. That's all. I'm an old man now. Don't forget.
So we want to thank all of you all, because all of you helped to make us a better community, and we thank you. All we want to do is share and care for our neighborhood, and we thank you.
Thank you.
Amon Israel, Tia Jackson, Mr. Pride.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Chair. Amon Yisrael, Riviera Beach, Florida, the Monroe Heights area. Riviera Beach is really one city. If some streets should be concrete, we should have a unified city when we put streets down. Some streets are concrete, and that's wonderful. But why not put concrete streets in all of Riviera Beach to help enhance the city? Monroe Heights, I've had 5 engineers, construction street people to come in our neighborhood, the Monroe Heights area. And they felt that it was truly disgusting to put something like that in an existing community, did not have inverted streets. I don't know where that came from, but it takes away from the community, and we're at a time we want to build the community. Riviera Beach is really one city, and we need to treat it that way. Again, we're at the crossroads in Riviera Beach. We can go to the right or to the left. It's time to go to the right. I want everybody to know that I'm supporting Ronnie Felder for mayor and Hartstown for District 1. Thank you.
Tia Jackson, Mr. Pride, Chris French.
Hi, how you doing?
Good evening.
I'm very disappointed by sitting in this meeting and hearing how people are bashing y'all. First of all, let me start with Terrence Davis. A lot of y'all don't know that he has helped me out a lot. He helps out in the school board. He was out there supporting the parents that didn't have things in Stony Brooks. He was out there doing a lot of things. If you look him up on YouTube, you can see him out there with the football team. Y'all are bashing people for no reason. They are trying their best to try to help y'all. Reverend Masters made it a way for y'all to get a job, felonies and all. Everybody sitting up here, it's nothing broken. Why y'all trying to fix stuff that's not broken? Give them a chance to continue to do what they're doing. It's y'all fault in the community not bringing yourself together. Y'all call on them to do a lot of work, but when they getting it done, what are y'all doing? Y'all are not trying to help them. They out here helping boys. If you ain't got money to put your children on football, one of them up here will help you. If you ain't got food, they bought food. Y'all was not complaining back then when they took the movie theaters away from us, when they took the skating rink, when they sat here making Riviera Beach look like Palm Beach. We are not Palm Beach. Give us back Riviera Beach. They are trying to fix it. Y'all allowed them to tear down Newcomb Hall. Okay, it look good over there. We got movies for the kids. You can't make everybody happy. You got haters everywhere you go. Stop sitting here hating when you could be out here helping. You can help these kids that's falling dead every day. Parents that need help, parents that goes to work. Terrence Davis helped a lot of parents that couldn't afford summer camp and couldn't do nothing. Reverend Masters, all of them. If you need help, they are here. Stop bashing them. I won't help none of y'all if you keep bashing us. They go out there and try to help y'all, and all y'all do is give negative feedback. But talk about something positive. We get on the newscast and talk about Riviera Beach like it ain't nothing. But guess what? Y'all didn't say nothing when people before them messed it up, took away the movie theaters, took away everything that we had. We not having fun like what it used to be back in the days. And that's what I'm saying. So y'all need to stop and grow up. Make this a better world. Take these kids and try to help them out. All of them up here doing something for a kid. People ain't out here trying to help us. Look at West Palm Beach. They doing better than what we are. But y'all bash Riviera Beach, but West Palm Beach got more problems than we do. So y'all get this together and stop doing all this. This is making me upset. I don't even want to be here.
Thank you.
Mr. Pride, Chris French, Willis Williams.
How y'all doing?
Hello.
Good evening.
How you doing?
My name is Darian Pride.
Yes.
This is my first time here. This what y'all do? Y'all argue and stuff like this? And y'all my elders? And y'all supposed to be teaching me right? I'm telling y'all, this is terrible. And it hurts my heart because I got youth out there that's getting killed. And this what y'all talking about, voting? That's all y'all worried about out here? I'm worried about my youth. What y'all gonna do for my youth? And I'm being honest with you. I seen you, Reverend Master. You be in Stony Brook every now and then. That man right there on the end is the only person I ever seen. Since I've been here, since day one working with him, I seen some of y'all. He done had me out here pushing literature for a lot of y'all. Yes. I ain't seen nothing change, but I come in here, that's why I don't come. Y'all arguing. Where the unity? What y'all arguing for? I thought all us supposed to be in here together. This Riviera, all us supposed to stick together. Why we arguing? Oh, what we gonna do about my kids? Can y'all answer me that? But y'all be saying every Wednesday and argue about, excuse my language, that don't even matter. I can't believe this. And I'm really hurt. Because I don't think y'all should be doing this. Y'all can't get along? So how y'all think they gonna get out there? You think they gonna get along?
Chris French,
Hey,
Willis
how y'all
Williams.
How you doing, sir?
My name is Chris French.
Good evening.
I come to show the support on behalf of T.D. Davis and the services that I benefited from. Also, like my friend just said as well, I see Masters and also see, I don't know your name, Counselor, the lady who came out of Stony Brook did the Christmas drive. But my point is, like, a lot of things that I was able to experience, like becoming a man, I was able to experience by making a change with the help or support of, like I just named out, like T.D. Davis, is being able to be able to call him in times of not knowing like what route to take. And I'm not saying it's just to put him on the map. It's something personal. It's just like a bond that you have with God. Like you made a statement when you say he's that throw the rock and how to stand, whatever you make statement you said, but divided house can't stand either. Even when it comes to the word of God, you can't mix it with things like this going on, confusion. And that's where I lose interest on trying to understand what's going on in the city. But like I said, I come to support the ones that supported me and my family to help overcome the struggles that we've been through. That's all I had to say.
Willis Williams, Earl Pleasant, Reverend Burrs.
Good evening, Council. Willis Williams, Riviera Beach. I won't take a lot of your time up tonight, but it's a few things I just need to say. And one of them is to Mrs. Hopkins. I think that you have done as adequate of a job as you could have done under the circumstances. You were put in a situation where I think most of your department heads felt that they could have did the job just as good as you. So you didn't get the support that you really needed to move the city forward. Unfortunately, that's the type of city we have had for quite some time. I think what needs to happen with this administration, that if there is a change in this administration, that we acquire a city manager that has the understanding, the ability to see wrong and correct it. You have a department of people that would cut your throat at the drop of a hat. And you need to understand that, because you're going to be here after this election for a little while. So let's try to make the best of this, as much of this as we can. There were things that were put in the, and I say this at the last meeting, and I need to speak on this because I'm confused about those amendments. I have never, there's nowhere around this country that the governing body cannot talk to their subordinates. I just don't understand that. So those amendments, and I'm saying it because those are the way I feel. I'm not trying to change your mind. I would not vote for them because I don't understand them. And anytime if you got a CEO of a corporation and the board of directors cannot give him or her a directive, that's a problem. And that's just the way I feel. So we need to get off on a good foot when this election over next week. Whomever wins, let's try to move this city forward in a direction in where we all gonna be bettered. Not just a small segment of our community, but everybody. I mean, you know, we can pick and choose as much as we like. But the right thing is just to do the right thing. And you know, just because everybody comes up here and try to tell you they're the best candidate or whatever, don't listen to that. You vote your conscience. People in this community need to vote their conscience because they know who the right people are. Thank you.
Earl Pleasant, Reverend Burrs, Bishop Thomas Masters.
Good evening, Earl Pleasant, West 37th Street. First of all, I want to thank these council members that sit up on this dais and do the best job that they can do. I really want to thank them for that. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes, I tell you. But mainly I'm here as a member of Pleasant Heights Missionary Baptist Church to thank you guys for recognizing my pastor. That's been my pastor for about 25 years, and he's been the pastor of our church for 38 years. And not only that, he's been an employee of the city of Riviera Beach for over 20 years. And I want to thank you very much for recognizing him for the changing of that street, the 34th Street. I have no problems with a pastor that's been working. A lot of time they work undisclosed. You don't know what they're doing. A lot of times midnight, you don't know when they got to go to see a parishioner. But I want to thank you for doing that. But I also want to ask this, that the persons that are in charge of Zone 1, Commissioner in Zone 1, that look into what Mr. Brown has been saying about his sister. She was a member of, she did a lot of work at Goodmark Park. Maybe there's something that we can do for her at Goodmark Park. And maybe that would appease him a little bit. But I want to thank you once again for recognizing my pastor, Reverend Leroy Parrish, for his 38 years of service. Thank you very much.
Reverend Burrs, Bishop Thomas Masters, Steve White.
Madam Chair, Mayor and Council, I'm not running for no office, and I'm not here to campaign, but I'm here as a taxpayer to remind the citizen, if they will, of those amendments on the for election next week to vote no for all of them, because they are ridiculous. That some of them is already in place. Really, don't need no changing in the charter. So I encourage the citizen to overlook those amendments, because you don't need to hire a city manager that nobody could give instructions to. Because if you hire one and you can't, the council cannot give him orders, then who is his boss? Everybody got a boss. The city manager, you all should be the city manager boss, and the council and the citizen are your boss. So then if you hire a city manager and then that amendment passed, you got a serious problem within this city. So I worked for the city for 30 years as well. And if I was an employee, I would have my union working, still talking about getting somebody to vote for somebody to oppose those amendments. That's what the union should be doing for the employees, because they would be affected thereby. So then let's say to the citizens that those amendments, that they're just ridiculous, may I say. And I was looking at the news the other day, and I hear someone talking about how the negative information that the news give to the Riviera Beach. And I was looking at the news, and there was a shooting at the VA hospital, and they specifically said Riviera Beach. If there was something good at the VA, they would say West Palm Beach. And these are things that we get negative reports when it's come to Riviera Beach, but when it's good reports, go somewhere else. So I say to the citizens that, yes, go vote, and we should not use this TV. This program was designed not for campaigning, not even for city and council. It was there for the citizens of Riviera Beach to get information what the council is doing. And if anything ought to be on the agenda, you ought to adopt some kind of policies that nobody could come here to this podium campaigning. That's not what this program was designed for candidates to come in and campaign. So people are wise enough who they want to vote for. So there may be some changes come next Tuesday, maybe not, I don't know. But whatever change, it ain't gonna affect me one way or the other. They ain't gonna put no money in my pocket, and certainly ain't gonna take none out. So let's whoever wins, don't come here trying to just get a job. Come here to do something for the citizen, as it was said, not for just a select group of peoples. It's for the whole citizen of Riviera Beach. So let's remember that those amendments, and I'm surprised that you all let them go to a referendum, because it's against you all, some of them, or whoever be sitting there as council persons. So I say to the citizen, vote no for all of them. Thank you.
Bishop Thomas Masters, Steve White, Douglas Lawson.
I joined the pastors of this city in also encouraging people to vote no. I think it has not been a secret where the mayor has stood on these four, and the pastors now are beginning to say it all over the city. The amendments, term limits. If you think you're going to get term limits, if you vote yes, you're not going to get what you really think. Term limits, look at this. You could be the mayor, and then when your term is up, you can run for your own district, or you can run for Terrence's the citywide district. So you're just going from one chair to the other. If you are number 2 district, when your term is up, then you can run for the mayor, or you can run for the city. You can go to another district, or you can run for the citywide. So you're not getting anything. And then it's very discriminatory towards young people. Do we really want to say to our young people that you can only hold a position X amount of years? You go to college, you come back, and you're prepared, and that's it? When we have been there 5 terms or 4 terms, I don't think that's fair. And what bothers me about this election, it was at the SEIU office the other day, and I looked up and saw a sign said, if you want to lead, then you must serve. And I thought about a lot of the candidates, and this is to people who are desiring these offices. You know, I asked one question: where have you been? Where were you when we talked about pull up your pants? Where were you with the hurricanes? Where were you when Trayvon Martin got killed? Where were you when Corey Jones got killed? Where were you when we changed O-Dixie to President Barack Obama? Where were you when we talked about job fairs and veterans and seniors and our young people? You know, it's okay to run for an office, but I want to know, where have you been? Are you just now waking up? And if you want to run for an office, somebody needs to ask the question, where have you been during all that has gone on in our city? Where have you been, and what have you done? That's it. And I do want to commend young people for coming tonight and others and challenging us to watch how we conduct ourselves and respect one another. And it does start up there, and it goes out there as well. So we want to encourage our young people. I'm glad to see them come, not only those, any of our young people come and encourage and speak truth to power. And the young man that talked about the church, the naming of after the minister, it's not just about naming the street after a pastor, but it's what that church is going to do for that street. I'll talk more about it as mayor when it comes up. Thank you.
Douglas Lawson, Lynn Hubbard, Fane Losman.
Good evening, Steve White. I was before you all, believe it may have been October of last year, but anyway, to talk about the mentoring program that we were about to kick off in the city of Riviera Beach to serve 12 to 18-year-old young men here in the city, an initiative of Councilwoman Lynn Hubbard. Well, we successfully completed phase 1 of the program. We had a really beautiful and touching graduation ceremony about 2 weeks ago at Lindsay Davis. Probably had more family come out to support the young men who were graduating from the program. And those who were there heard some really touching comments from those young men about how much they benefited from the mentoring program. And so I really want to thank Councilwoman Hubbard for really having the vision and the initiative to bring this mentoring program to the city. I want to thank City Manager Ms. Hoskins for her support. And I think that it's, like I said, it's just phase 1. So we're going to continue to work with the young men. They have really benefited from what we've done with them so far. And like I said, it's just the beginning. So we have some really big plans for working with them. So again, I thank you, Councilwoman Hubbard. You've always shown a commitment to this city and to the youth in our community. And I look forward to working with you as we move forward for the next 3 years. I also want to thank Councilman Mr. Davis for his unwavering support to the youth in our community as well. And I think that's been attested to by the young man who came up here before. So I really look forward to working with both of you as we move forward. You both serve this community with integrity. And I hope that the people in this community will understand that we have people on the dais who are really committed. So I thank you, Councilwoman Hubbard. Thank you, Mr. Davis, and look forward to working with you as we move forward and continuing the mentoring program. So thank you.
Madam Chair.
Chair Pro Tem, you recognize.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. White, thank you for hosting and facilitating that program. I must say the young men that participated, we were very touched. Ms. Hoskins was there. It was a very moving graduation, and we do look forward to doing phase 2. But what I want to remind the public of is we might remember that this was on the heels of the shootings that we were having over in the National Village Timber Pines area. And we wanted the parents who had the younger kids or other siblings to know that we could put something into the area or to the community to divert that and to stop some of those things. And this went very well, and one young man put it very mildly, and he said, you know, I was acting as a juvenile, and I had very childish behavior. But Mr. White talked to me about what it really meant to grow up and be a decent young man. And that is exactly what we wanted them to come away. That was the takeaway that we were hoping for from that program. So I look forward to you continuing your work, something you've done for years, Mr. White, and providing a service for our young men. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor, you recognize?
I also want, I don't know whether this mic is off, not Walter, but I do want to commend Mr. Steve White for the work that he has done and is doing in this city. But I also want the residents to know that Mr. White didn't just pop up overnight and start something. He has been involved many, many years. My grandson benefited from one of your programs. But I want the residents to know that there's a scripture that says charity starts at home and spreads abroad. This young man has been recognized nationally for the work, I'm talking about Steve White, that he has done. He is a nationally recognized author, and you may not know it. So let's not, I just need you to know that we have great talents here, and we need to know the people that in this community that others can recognize, but for some reason, a man may be without honor in his own home, as the scripture states. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Douglas Lawson, Lynn Hubbard, Fane Losman.
Good evening, Council. Chairperson Tanya Davis Johnson, Mayor. Today, I see that it's a platform for canvassing in political election time, and everybody's up here just jockeying for time. My name is Douglas Lawson. I'm coming to talk to Councilman Davis about an event that occurred last Tuesday. We had a candidate forum that's currently being aired on Riviera Beach TV. And concerns were addressed from Councilman Davis, yet ironically he's not here for public comment to address them. So I'm gonna address them to the council because he requested and made allegations of a business, a local business that he's never stepped foot in. On February 26th, Black Village Voice hosted this candidate forum. So when this Black Village Voice candidate forum is being aired on Riviera Beach TV, and his allegations were towards a business that had fraudulent documentation, illegal operations, and he had documentation and proof. So I'm asking Councilman Davis for the documentation. I put in a public records request the day after this event, yet I was told he has a timely fashion to deliver it to me. It is a week later, and I still have not received any documentation of what Councilman Davis has pulled on any business related to the allegations he made, which is currently being aired on Riviera Beach TV. So Councilman Davis, in the event he wants to continue to make allegations of any brand, business, or affiliation of any local business owners, he needs to provide that documentation within a timely fashion. I'm asking the city manager and our attorney to allow for this timely fashion to be achieved so that we can know what documentation he is addressing prior to any legal actions coming against a council of a councilman making allegations of a business. So in regards to any operations that the city is doing, let's continue to operate with integrity, honesty, and transparency without using the public time to address issues and concerns for political re-election. Council, thank you so much for your time. Dr. Botel, thank you for visiting my brother's studio today. It was appreciative to have you. He was excited to have you there. KVL studio, he was happy to have you there. Okay? Have a great night, Council.
Thank you.
Lynn Hubbard, Fane Losman, Rhonda Shaw.
I am Lynn Hubbard. I reside at 1405 West 23rd Street in the city of Riviera Beach. And you know, for so many days and so many times, all kind of comments have come to be made here, things that are derogatory. And as the last speaker said, sometimes people need to have proof of things. There are signs all over the city that are labeled as corrupt and corruption, and there has never been any proof or only allegations about corruption in the city. And as candidates and people jockeying for other seats, one person came up here to talk about things that being prepared, qualified, and trained for seats. As far as the housing authority goes, I have served and developed programs for housing authorities, have served on the boards, have created community self-sufficiency programs, and I was there when we closed the deal to build the units that are being built there. And we insisted that there was local participation. Everyone who knows that I insist that there is local and equitable distribution of resources here in the city. So to continue to sit up and listen to people stand down here and say things that aren't true, the reason that I believe that the degradation and the demoralizing and the demonizing of one's character is because people know that I would stand up and fight for this community and the residents thereof, instead of the weakest link that is being massaged and manipulated so that they can continue to do what they plan to do. And that is to take over the city of Riviera Beach and move those residents out of the city of Riviera Beach so only the rich and the affluent can afford to be here. And that is the intent. Anytime there is something about for our youth or the businesses, the local business, quote unquote, here, then there is a big explosion about it. But when there is something that for other people that are just passing through or coming in here, then there's always seems to be a problem. One thing that I am proud to say, we were able as a group and during my tenure was to remove homestead liens off of homestead property. People were having liens on their property that they didn't know what to do with. Investors were coming through here, taking the property, scaring the tenants of those properties, but everybody needs to watch their mail to see that you should shortly be receiving a certified copy that the removal of 105 homestead residents have their liens removed. Now that's a big deal. That's stabilization of our communities.
Fane Lozman, Rhonda Shaw, Mary Bram.
Fane Lozman. By the way, Ms. Chairperson, there are no rules in the back of the chambers to follow. So you keep saying those rules back there. They're not on the wall back there. They're not outside the door. So if you're going to chair a meeting, be accurate in what you talk about. The lady earlier that came about and talked about Gagnon, I've been telling you that for years. Gagnon's incompetent. He may be corrupt. I don't know. I've heard allegations of corruption, but he's certainly a racist. He certainly shouldn't be working in this city. And those facts to back up the racism and those facts to back up the incompetence, and I'm glad 61 other people are finally agreeing with me, but you as a board are aware of what's gone on with him, and you should have done something about that by now. Hopefully, you know, the process will get rid of him once and for all. Now, for those who respect what I did back in 2007 when I fought the eminent domain battle and you kept your houses, and it ended up costing me my home, the one individual up there I want removed and replaced, Tanya Davis Johnson. I don't care who you vote in for her, she needs to go. Why does she need to go? She helped bring in our new city attorney and gave a contract that is violative of state statute, number one. Number two, our new city attorney who's been here, 3 months? She has refused to follow the council's directive and get rid of Benjamin Bedard and his firm. I gave her a video, which the mayor knows all well about, that disparaged the mayor, accused him of all kind of nasty things, and brought dishonor to the city. And those members who saw it last summer said, get rid of Bedard. City attorney has seen that video, and she has refused to unilaterally fire him and it says, oh, well, the insurance company may not like it, and if we have another law firm, they may not get up to speed. You can get up to speed in that case in a few days. I hired a new attorney to represent me at the 11th Circuit. He got up to speed in 3 days. You have a responsibility. You don't work for Tanya Davis Johnson. You work for the council. They said to fire this guy last August, and he hasn't been fired. So there's a leadership failure in the legal department, and it just, one thing after another, is not getting done legally. That woman who was here earlier with that thing, she could have put an end to that. I mean, it's just horrific. And finally, Bruce Guyton and Cedric Thomas are on the list. How could they be on the list? Guyton was arrested for violating the Sunshine Law, and Thomas admitted that he broke the Sunshine Law to get immunity. We certainly don't want those two up there again. But again, one person needs to go up there, I believe, strongly, Tanya Davis Johnson. Thank you.
Rhonda Shaw, Mary Bram, J.B. Dixon.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rhonda Shaw, and I live at 1642 West Blue Heron Boulevard. And I've been up here quite some time. This is probably my 4th time. What happened about 2 or 3 years ago, they did a fixing the sewers and fixing the water thing in the back. It used to run over into the yard, and when it get all filled up, it'll come toward the house. So I complained so much of that, and they came and fixed it. But when they fixed it, they didn't put all the way down to the end to Taco Bell. They didn't put any kind of reference, or they put a slab there so you can't come in and out of your yard. So I had complained about it before, a different panel. You all are new people to this. And they had explained to me who I needed to see. I went to go see them. Nothing didn't get done. I kept complaining about it. I'm here again. Only thing I want, some understanding if it's going to be done and why it can't be done. And everybody on that whole panel, we came all together at first. Now it's just me. You know, I have to vouch for myself. But I just want to understand, if it's not going to be done, why isn't it going to be done? I bought the house with that like that, and I am a homeowner, and I would like to have that done. I've messed up my Mercedes, getting off the big hump. I just want some explanation. That's all I want, and for some help to be done in my property.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor, you recognize?
I was here when the council did order that work to be done. I was here, I'm a witness, and I'm surprised that it has not been done to this point to her. Hold on just a minute. I'll wait till the manager gets through, because I was talking to the young lady. Ms. Shaw. No. Let me just finish.
Okay.
I'm just for the record, because the manager now wasn't here then. I was here, and I heard what was going on, and it was redirected the manager at the time to make sure to fix this. And so we have a fiduciary obligation and responsibility to take care of that situation behind your house. That's what you're talking about, right? Yeah, it does create a problem for public safety as well. Thank you for coming back. I am a witness, and I also want it done.
Nobody come to see it but you and
It's shameful that it
PK.
wasn't done.
Yeah.
The manager hears it, so now she will
Thank you so
take it
much.
from here. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Welcome, Mr. Mayor.
Mary Bram, J.B. Dixon.
Good evening, Mary Bram, Riviera Beach. First of all, you see I have my vote shirt on. This is the form of democracy. I would not stand here and degrade or degenerate any of you, because this is what democracy is about. Each one of you that sat there, you have done something that is good in your own rightful way. So whatever the voters and whoever the voters choose, that's democracy. And that's the way government's supposed to work. Ms. Miller Anderson, you thought that no one caught this. You were in the party pics in the notary, dated on February the 13th. See, Ms. Brown keeps up with all of this here. The Shower for Shelter Luncheon celebrated Holy Grounds, Palm Beach County's accomplishments to help at-risk mothers overcome homelessness. Thank you. The coding, we talk about the children and stuff and what we should do about the children. Coding, Ms. Johnson, Tanya Johnson did establish that in other criteria. We talk about Mr. Steve White. The most prolific program in this city here is the Youth Empowerment Program. I hear none of you elected officials talk about this, including the mayor. This what saves our at-risk 17, 15, and on up adults. The program is magnificent, but none of you all talks about this. I think Ms. Miller Anderson does. You all really overlook what's detrimental here to your city here. This program helps deter and helps the police department. When we talk about the amendments, I see my time is running out. It's running mighty fast. I don't know. But I must say this. When we did the amendments, Chris Smith came in here. And Miss Tanya Johnson had him to come to educate us about them. It's nothing wrong with those 4 amendments. We should have them. And I'm encouraging the voters to vote for them. If we want accountability as the citizens in this city here, nothing wrong with these amendments. No one should sit in a seat for a lifetime. It is others should come along that we should be willing to groom so that everybody can grow. Ethics on this amendment was one of them. Federal and government, they said yes. What's wrong with our municipality? We should have that. This right here, bribery, mayors, council peoples, all of them do it. Just so happen you're perhaps lucky that you haven't got caught. So congratulations for that.
Thank you, Ms.
Residents, you have 5 days out for election day, and that's next Tuesday. Now, if you hold that ballot out and mail it in on Friday, it would not be counted there on election day. And a designee must have your voters' approval. Here it is right here. The supervisor has outlined it. They have to authorize someone to pick up your ballot.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
And this is true. One more thing. I have to say this. This is in reference to my husband, Mr. Brown. If anybody too lazy and too sorry and too sick, I buried my husband last year in February. Every voter, every time that Mr. Brown was able to vote, he voted for the last 2 years of his life. And I always made a copy of his absentee ballot to make sure, because he was so concerned about his ballot. And sometimes he was so sick, but he got up and he and he voted. He stood there and he voted. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us people? We have to get up and vote. If you want to keep them, keep them. If you don't, this is what democracy is about. It is about to vote. And when we say that we wasn't educated on these, it's 4 simple ones that determines this city here. It brings accountability, not just for the council, but for we as a resident and we as a city. It's time for us to get right and be right, because you will only get right in God's sight if you are right. And I have no animosity toward none of you all and none of the candidates that are running. because my vote is my vote, and your vote is your vote. So get up and vote. Get up and vote. The struggle has been too hard. It is many laying all over the land for your right to vote. Residents, you get up and vote.
Thank you,
Mr.
Ms.
Brown would be proud of you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you.
J.B. Dixon. Madam Chair, that concludes public comments at this time.
Thank you.
We are now on to discussion and deliberation. Madam Chair, Councilperson Davis added a discussion regarding loud music throughout the neighborhood.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, thank you. Is the Chief of Police here? I was approached this evening on my way to the council meeting by a resident showing some concern of loud music in cars and loud cars racing through a particular community. And I did reassure that resident that we will find out what is our procedures on how we address these issues and what are we doing to be proactive with it and how we can help the entire community address this issue. And I just wanted to put it on tonight to kind of give us a little overview of how this issue is usually addressed. Because if she's having this issue, I'm sure others may also on the block.
Okay, Mike Madden, interim police chief. Loud music complaints they vary from vehicles to someone playing loud music at their house. They're all unique. The one thing I can recommend is that you call the police department. We have a community policing team that if it's a constant problem in your neighborhood, their number one objective is to solve your problem. So, without going into detail, because there's so many different types of loud noise complaints, I just encourage them to call the police department's non-emergency number, which is 845-4123.
Thank you. Is that all that you have? Are there
Is
any
it-
questions? From
There's one last, Madam Chair.
Mr. Davis, you recognize?
Is there something that we can do with signage or some information out to be more proactive with folks being sensitive to the community needs as they ride through the neighborhood?
With regards to loud music?
Yes. If not, just think about it.
Yeah, it'd be something we'd have to talk about as far as what signage would be effective.
And that non-emergency number again?
845-4123.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor, you recognize?
Under the discussion, deliberation, it just kind of went by me for a minute, but at some point, I don't know whether you want to do it here or under statements by the mayor, but I received the email at 4:30. I think that was the time of it as it relates to the family and friends event that we've always had once a month about tomorrow. And I am very upset about it, and I need to bring it to the attention of the council, and then we move on. So whatever you want to designate when I can do it, I'm oblige you.
It would be most appropriate under your comments since we didn't add it to the agenda under discussion and deliberations.
That would be just fine.
Thank you, sir.
Nothing changes a day before. It's ridiculous.
We've already taken care of the board appointments. Ms. Hoskins, would you like to provide any responses to Ms. Hoskins? Would you like to provide any responses to the comments that were made during public comment?
No, not at this time. I don't have any responses. I will contact Mrs. Shaw regarding her complaint. And Mrs. Shaw, I will also need to get your address. But other than that, I don't have any responses regarding any of the other comments that were made.
Thank you. Discussion by city manager?
Madam Chair, I have none.
You have nothing?
No.
Okay. Discussion by city attorney?
Nothing at this time.
Are there any city council committee reports?
I have a couple.
Chair Pro Tem, you recognize?
I sit on the planning. We call it TPA now. It used to be the MPO, and so we always get a report from Palm Trend. And speaking of Palm Trend, we have had comments about the removal of the bus stop over at Stony Brook, and I have met with Mr. Forbes, so has Chairwoman Tanya Davis Johnson. We also have met with the residents at different times over there concerning this bus stop. So I am proud to say that through those discussions, we were able to have the bus stop replaced to the Stony Brook area in its original location for the convenience of the residents that live in Stony Brook. So that's a quality of life issue that was very important to me. So I continued to work on those types of things, and we're glad that it's back, and I wanted to let you know under that committee. Also, I sit on the Riviera Beach Cares Homeless Coalition, a newly formed group through one member from the Bridges, Terry Ferguson. She was originally a member of Bridges, an employee thereof, and she started the Homeless Coalition because this is for emergencies. The presentation was here the other week. A lot of people will find themselves out of homes or without shelter in the middle of the night. And what we are doing is trying to put together resources that will help those people. And right now, we have secured a 501c3 that we're able to use. It'll probably be till December until the group gets its own 501c3 to take on monies. And the Riviera Beach Youth Recreation Association is the treasurer right now, or the facilitator of those funds. So we want everybody to know, when you're looking throughout the years to different things that you are going to support, homelessness is definitely at an all-time high here in this county and also here in Riviera Beach. So when you want to contribute to different things, think of that organization, because at night the people will be faced with either the police or the fire department most times when they find themselves without a place to live. And the average place that we found is starting at like $85 a night. So that's what we're trying to do, put something in place so that we can address those issues rapidly, so that people will be able to find themselves immediately taken care of. So those are my two reports from the committees that I serve on, Madam Chair.
All righty. Statements by the mayor and city council, starting with Commissioner Davis. Councilman Davis, I'm sorry.
I have a question before I get into the statement. Madam Manager, we had something being addressed in the fire station. Is it 83 or 88?
Chair, yeah.
Madam Manager, you may.
Yes, staff was called out. We had another roofing issue, and I believe it was mentioned probably about 7 or 8 months ago, where we had a roofing issue also at that station. So we are still having problems there. And as I mentioned earlier, I believe in the last meeting, that I wanted to have a facilities workshop with the entire city council, because we are having some major problems with our buildings.
Okay, well, I think that's really good. One of the questions concerns, can we make sure that we have a meeting with all our staff that's impacted with that, so they can know when and where what's going to happen? You know, we've had numerous facilities workshops over the last, well, two really. One was a special meeting, and one was in our council retreat. This week, so staff can know when and where what's going to happen. That was brought to my attention as I walked in the council meeting tonight.
Yes, sir.
To the residents of Riviera Beach, I just want to say thank you to everyone who came out tonight and showed their concerns. It's very obvious what time of year we're in, but I would like to say thank you for allowing me to serve you. It is wonderful to be able to come back home from college to a community I was raised up in and being able to continuously give back prior to running for office and then even at the legislative level. We always talk about telling our story, and one of the things I like to make sure that we continue to do that. And there's some things I just take great pride in working with that I would like to state that when we got elected in 2013 through 16, there was a big effort pushed forward to reducing our water bills. And we're moving forward, and I'm happy to celebrate that with this entire council with the radio water meters. Right now, things that went out for bid. So now you're going to have some water meters that allow you to catch leaks prior to coming to pay your water bill. You'll be able to monitor your water bills and be able to budget your water based upon a price because you can kind of evaluate it as the water meters are in place with the radio water meters. It's great to see the senior housing coming online at the old Ivory Green site with 105, Mayor's 105 or 109? 107 units. We talked about putting our seniors in the community where they can be fit for them, and so they don't have to worry about loud noises, different things that's going on throughout the community. Proud to see the Explorer program with the police department continue moving forward as we have great young ladies and young men get the opportunity to work on becoming future police officers in the community that they grew up in. I do firmly believe in community policing, and it starts from home at a very young age. This year, we had the first time we had the 4th of July. We made that promise, and we did that, this entire board. Christmas came back to Riviera Beach. Take a great deal of joy in being Santa and working with the entire council and the CRA. We had over 4,500 people travel across the country, across the county to our city. These are great things. We must continue to tell our story. We are still in discussions of a new library with a potential P3, of having a Riviera Beach Training Center. We must continue to work forward after the elections to really do some real serious, darn hard work to get that accomplished as expedited as possible. The Ban the Box, something that we've done, giving opportunities for those who have been incarcerated and coming back. Just a fair chance, with Mr. Bullitt and that department done a wonderful job with giving people a chance to work, young men and young women being proud. And we see a lot of folks when you ride through this city and through our various departments that are escalating at the administrative level. And they've probably been some of our best employees. And I really feel good when they stop and they say, it really feels good to come home, because everywhere else we go, you don't get that second chance, and that Ban the Box did work. Restoring rights with Ms. Cobb and the library, Mr. Bullitt. We've done numerous events with that, making sure that we restore rights, and the council worked together jointly to push those issues. These are issues that were very non-controversial that we have to find a way to continue to celebrate together. Some say they're political, I say they're human. These are issues that really change people's lives. One and last but not least, our police department was the best rated technical police department in the country just a few years back. And we've been building off that. Our general employees got the raises they asked for. Our fire got the raises they asked for. Our police department got the raises they asked for. We have been doing some great things in this community. And I don't want people to cloud our community with a negative cloud. These are facts. These are wonderful things that you should be proud of, that this entire council and previous council members have put so much time and energy to move forward. And last but not least, we would talk about lift stations 10 and 50. Those are issues when you talk about your quality of the water that have been addressed. And $20 million of road improvements that you see on H Avenue, Mara Heights, H Avenue East, H Avenue West. You see it on the south side. You see your money working for you. And you have a much better quality of water no matter what folks are telling you. Our utility director has done a wonderful job in that department, and the health department has supported him in telling the truth of the facts about making sure that Riviera Beach has continued to protect its brand with its water, and that's why so many folks are purchasing water from you. So I just want to say thank you for allowing me to serve you. Thank you for allowing me to get these facts out as an update from the Councilman Davis office. And I ask you to, when it come around for the election time, vote based upon facts. Don't vote based upon emotions, and vote based upon truth of what's in your heart. Thank you.
Councilwoman Botel, you recognize.
Thank you. I have a lot to say tonight. I don't usually talk this much, but I'll try to go quickly. We had a great beach polo event. I might have thanked people the last time we met, but I just want to say again, thank you to all the city staff that helped. I'm looking at Jeff Gagnon. He went through a lot with the founder of the event, Mr. Blankenship, could not have been more helpful. Chief Madden, with the troops that he had on board, just outstanding service. I can't thank you enough. Our legal department helped tremendously. Karen Hoskins, of course, was extremely helpful. The entire city staff helped make that the tremendous event that it was. Of course, I can't say enough about J.B. Dixon, who raised the money to support the event. It was wonderful. Ms. Bram, I want you to know that the Youth Empowerment Program is near and dear to my heart. I may not talk about it a lot, but Valerie Grimsley is an important part of my Workforce Development Task Force. She's an integral part of that, and I make great use of her services. So I may not talk a lot about it, but I certainly use her services quite often. I want to mention that I voted yes on all of those amendments. I feel very strongly about the amendments. You know that the mayor and I have agreed to disagree on those amendments. I want to make it very clear. People say that the council can't tell the city manager what to do. That is absolutely a misinterpretation of that amendment. We, of course, can tell the city manager what to do as a body, not as single individuals. That's the most critical thing about people don't seem to understand what that amendment is about. It does not prohibit the council from directing the city manager. It says that the city council must direct the city manager as a body, not as individuals. So please consider voting yes for those amendments. I wanted to let you all know that we had a very successful Christmas party at Stony Brook, as the young man mentioned earlier, having seen me out there at Stony Brook. We, the Friends of the Riviera Beach Schools, which is a 501c3 that J.B. Dixon and I started, will be going back for an Easter party. We'll be using J Ministries to put some money. I'll be donating some money through my waste management funds to J Ministries at the next opportunity, so that we can give an Easter party to the kids at Stony Brook. I was asked by Jennifer Nugent Hill, who was a partner with the Christmas party from the Tropical Shipping. She said to me, "Didn't you give them any personal items?" I thought, wow, kids don't like pajamas at Christmas. They like toys. So all we did was give them toys and a Christmas tree and a good party. Now I felt the need to go back and give them personal items, so I'm going to go get them some socks, I think, and probably there'll be a lot of Easter eggs thrown in there with the socks. So we're going to do that at Easter on the 21st. If anybody wants to come out and join us on the 21st of April, we'll be there at Stony Brook. I also attended the Riviera Beach Cares Homeless Coalition. And I have to say, I did ask that evening about whether or not they were a 501c3, and I pledged $1,000. It is a wonderful model that they have, and I applaud their efforts, because we so many times in City Council have people knocking on our doors and saying, hey, where can I go tonight? And just last week, I put somebody up in the travel lodge that went up on Broadway, and it is, in fact, it's $85 a night. And so when people come to us looking for immediate help, there's just no process for that. And this group has devised a process that we can follow and all be working toward the same end to get people homes. I serve on two committees that you might be of interest. The Economic Development Committee of the North Palm Beach Chamber I serve on, and I serve on a subcommittee called the Environmental Subcommittee, and we are working hard to get rid of single-use plastic bottles. In fact, we're devising a sort of a contest to give green awards to people in the community who are most successful in getting rid of plastic straws and plastic bottles. In my office, as a matter of fact, I don't use the plastic bottles that are available to us in the council chambers. I filter Riviera Beach water and drink it out of a paper cup. I also serve on the Government Affairs Committee of the North Palm Beach Chamber. So I think that I've covered everything for this evening. Please get out and vote on the 12th. Thank you.
Councilwoman Miller Anderson.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank all of the department heads who came out and did presentations for our Citizen Leadership Academy. We completed our 10-week program on last night. As you all probably know, usually the participants they kind of rank their departments based on presentations, and I believe police probably were the winners for this particular event this year. So kudos to the police. What was really nice, and I think what really put it over the top for them, was they, and maybe at some point, Interim Chief Madden could kind of give a little video or a little advertisement of the new simulator that the police department has, where the officers are able to go in and almost similar to laser tag, but it puts them in different scenarios, traffic stops, hostage situations. And so the participants on last night, those who volunteered, had an opportunity to participate in that scenario simulation. And I think it really provided people on the outside to have a better understanding of what policemen go through when they're doing a traffic stop and in other situations. So kudos to the police. We have a very good technology program over there at the Port Center. And, you know, I was very impressed and pleased with the program that we have. And I know that we're always on the cutting edge of everything in terms of ShotSpotter and, you know, with the license plate readers. And I think I would hope that we're on cutting edge with that simulator as well. So I wanted to thank all of the department heads for their presentations. At a future meeting, we will have our presentations for the participants to graduate. And then also, I'd like to just thank everyone for the calls, texts, and the that's not what I meant. Prayer cards, yes. Greeting cards for the loss of my father-in-law, Mr. Joseph Anderson. Mr. Anderson was around this city for many, many years. He was a very devoted person when it came to working the polls. He worked the polls a lot at Tate's. For many, many, many years, and he will be greatly missed. He was living with us for the last 3 years, so we really had a lot of close time with him. And you know, it's one thing to lose a parent, but my husband has lost now both of his parents, and we understand that that's a part of life. So just keep us in your prayers. And his memorial will be this Saturday at Emmanuel Deliverance Church of God at 11 a.m., which is 1309 Georgia Avenue. So if anyone is interested, you're more than welcome to attend, but we do appreciate everyone for reaching out. And he was missed this year in the Citizens Leadership Academy. He did participate last year, and he was trying to get there again this year, but his health was failing him, so he wasn't able to come. However, he always wanted to know what was going on. And I do want you all to know that he continued to follow Riviera Beach's elections and the candidates that are running, and he put in his absentee ballot. And so that was very important that he did that, because he took voting very seriously here in Riviera Beach. And so thank you very much to everyone, and keep us in your prayers.
Madam Chair. Just a quick comment. I took the Citizens Leadership Academy before I was elected, and I have to encourage anybody who's even mildly interested in Riviera Beach politics or just the government, the way the government works in Riviera Beach. It's a great way to understand the workings of the Riviera Beach government, and I would encourage anybody who's interested to take that Citizens Academy, Citizens Leadership Academy.
Vice Chair, you recognize.
Councilwoman Miller Anderson, I want you to know that you have our condolences for the loss of your father-in-law. Indeed, I think the Citizens Leadership Academy is a tool that's definitely needed. When I decided to run for office, we had Leadership Palm Beach County. I went through that. That was a very instrumental program in being able to provide resources to the whole city, because I came up through the ranks through the housing authorities, creating community self-sufficiency programs, knowing where things are and where to direct people so that they can get the help they needed is vital. And those are the things that you learn in leadership programs. Also, serving on boards. If you want to run, it's important that you serve on boards. I've served on the Planning and Zoning Adjustment Board, the Housing Authority boards, county and county. I worked at the county, West Palm Beach and Riviera Beach. So those things are important if you want to know what's going on in the city. And just by merely getting involved, we created the West Side Civic Association, trying to move and create Riviera Beach on the West Side and to make it better than it has been. And that has been our continual fight, our continual struggle to help to get the things on the west side of Riviera Beach that the residents of Riviera Beach need. My goal was and still is that the quality of life improves for the residents of Riviera Beach. What I want to see is that, for example, at Stony Brook, what I want for the residents at Stony Brook is safe and decent housing. I want them to have quality jobs and income so that they can provide their own housing and they can provide the things that they want for themselves, and they can buy the different types of things that they would like for their own children. So as I can, I too thank the residents of Riviera Beach for an opportunity to serve. I do hope to continue to help to improve the quality of life for the residents. No, this is not the most popular job, not when you stand up and you speak up for what you stood on the corner and beg people for you to do. And that's where I am with this. When we have a place that is rich as Riviera Beach is, and there are $300 million projects coming down the pipe. We had a $40 million project coming down the pipe. Morrow Heights project is a $12 million project. When you don't have local people participating in those type things, those are the things that bother me. Those are the things that improve the quality of life so that people won't always have to give the families handouts. People want to hand up. People want to pull their own selves up. So when we say that, that people aren't qualified or ready to serve, one thing for sure, I worked with a group called Results, and the goal was to eliminate poverty and hunger in our lifetime. And what we did was fashion policies and procedures that we could take to Washington and other places to try to move people forward. And that's what this has to be about. It can't be a popularity contest. When you have people come into this community trying to do things without permits, trying to do environmentally unsafe stuff to the community and to the people of Riviera Beach. That's what we have to think about. Who's going to stand up to them? Who's going to say something about that? We have to speak up for ourselves. We have to speak up for this community. One of the things that I want people to remember, it's why it's important that we have a summer youth employment program here. Someone gave me the name of the program that I had been trying to think of. It's called CETA. We had SYEP, CETA, PIC. The program was called all of those things. It went through a myriad of changes. But that did for us coming up is introduce us to career opportunities. And that's what we were trying to do for our kids here. But any time when you start to pull up your youth or help your older people, you will watch naysayers attack those two veins first, because your youth is what's coming up, and we want them to know that there's opportunities for them outside of what we have been hearing with the shootings and stuff in this community. We want to expose our kids to those type things, and that is what I think is most important. Let me say about the educational system. One thing about the educational system, it isn't designed for the advancement of these kids these days. These standardized testing are keeping a lot of our kids down. And if every parent can't afford a tutor for those kids, they will stay in that school, end up with a certificate and not a high school diploma. And for you to want that for these kids, I think is just, and I not personally want it, but when you don't do something about it, you inadvertently want it. And we need to do something about it to help our kids and help move our kids through the programs like that, giving them somewhere safe to play, somewhere safe to be, like the Cunningham Park. And the mentoring program that Mr. White conducted happened over there in National Village. Right now, through Mr. Blankenship's leadership, we're getting ready to do that park over there. So those kids can have activities and somewhere to be, and even the senior citizens will be over there. The other thing that I would like to tell you about is Riviera Beach being cleaner and Riviera Beach being more aesthetically pleasing. That's contagious. The more that we clean the city, take the trash off, remove the trash piles, and clean up the city, that's another initiative that I led in the city. A quality of life initiative. Those are the type of things that interest me, making sure that our city can look cleaner and be better. So when you hear about demonizing things, it's because I'm a strong person that's going to stand up and speak up and fight for these residents, the city of Riviera Beach, and also our employees. So I say to you that my name is indeed on the ballot. I would like you to consider re-electing me and to note the things that I have done. One other thing about that street out there, the reason that we have the drainage in the middle is because the streets are so narrow in Monroe Heights and no one wanted to give up 5 feet on each side. And now with the Disability Act, the sidewalks have to be expanded to 5 feet. They can no longer be 3 feet. So the only place that we could put the drainage was in the middle. And while it might be a valley now, when they finish putting all the pavement in, everything will be smooth. So it's a grave inconvenience, but it's going to be all right when it's all done. You won't have water backing up into your properties. So thank you for letting me serve you. I hope to come back and serve you, and have a good night, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, you're recognized.
I've got to deal with a couple issues. One, I have a letter with several questions and complaints as it relates to members of the administration from the people who signed the petition as relates to Marina Grande and others who have been writing letters back and forth to the city. I do want to say this. I want everybody to be treated fairly and justly. And I'm always concerned about justice for everyone. But based upon this letter and the accusations that are being made as relates to our staff, from the top to others, I don't know whether this needs to go to the city attorney, but I am going to give it to the city attorney and ask our attorney to look into these issues, and if it is necessary to ask for an independent investigation as it relates to some of these very serious allegations. FDOT is definitely involved over there. There's others that's being called into question. Planning and Zoning Board, and goes on. And I'm talking about the crap pot. So I'll give this to the city attorney. And, Ms. Isaacs, would you come and give this? I want to thank first Dr. Botel for today. And I want to thank you for making some very strong, I think, and I was pleased, statements as it relates to this mayor. And particularly the statement that you said that there's none like the mayor, that I worked 24 hours and you have not seen any candidate that would do what the mayor does. And I don't want to go into detail about your statement, but it will be seen and heard and read. I want to thank Kashama Miller Anderson for her faithfulness down through the years as it relates to our city and the progress that we've made. And please let Joseph know, and I call him Joseph, your husband, that he and his family are in our prayers. And we're praying for the peace, communion of the Holy Spirit to rest, rule, and abide with your family. I'm not for sure if I could be there, but certainly if I can, I think I have another funeral too. I'll try to shift between the two if possible. Thank you. I've known Kashama Miller Anderson for probably 25 years and plus, and she has always been a true champion of fairness and justice, and I can just go on and on. So I want to thank you for standing up. And I always have, on behalf of my sister, Cora Masters Sperry, she always says, one thing about Kashama, she's been very supportive, and she wants you to know that she's very appreciative of that as well. So I'll tell her I told you, and I said it publicly, and I said supportive, so leave it at that. I want to thank Councilwoman Lynn Hubbard for her service. I'm not for sure who's going to get back up here, so I want to take my time and not miss anyone. For your service up here as it relates to several initiatives that you have done and instituted in the community. I want to thank our chair, Tanya Davis Johnson, for your leadership as chair and for other things that you have done in this community. The garden down there is just beautiful. I know that being a chair, being a pastor, being a leader, it's not easy. You take pot shots from people from all the time, but you weathered the storm, and I want to thank you for your service. I want to thank Councilman Terrence Davis for his service, what he has, particularly with the youth. There were 2 witnesses there tonight, and some of the work that you have done in the community, and I know you've been you and Councilwoman Hubbard been very attentive and vigilant with Stony Brook, so I thank you for that. I don't think I missed anyone, and that's not to say that I have agreed with you meaning collectively. I've disagreed on issues. That's a part of life. We disagree sometimes, but we must never become disagreeable. So because I've said those things about my colleagues doesn't mean that I've agreed with everything they said and have done, because I haven't, and I'm sure they haven't agreed with everything the mayor has said and done. I also want to say something as it relates to Jay's ministry. The relationship that I've had with Jay's ministry and Pastor Felder Sr. and now Ronnie Felder has been very, very good down through the years. The office of mayor has been there a few times as it relates to doing things with Pastor Ronnie and with the church and with the ministry. And it doesn't matter. However this turns out, that relationship will always be there, because Jay's ministry has been in our community for many, many years and has done great work. I also want to say this about the other candidates that are running for mayor. Cedric Thomas and I probably served the longest. And I tell you that I talk to him frequently. I want to thank him also for several projects that he did as a councilman, and others who have served. So, you know, we must understand this is one community, and we must all get along and work together. We can disagree and not be disagreeable. I want to thank the SEIU, who represent the service employees of Riviera Beach, for your support and your favor as it relates to this mayor. And Cedric Thomas and I both received that same type of commendation from AFL-CIO as well. I want to thank the residents of Riviera Beach for giving me and allowing me to serve you for these 12 years. I look forward, if you decide that I should continue, I look forward to. If not, I would accept the will of the people and continue to be a voice and to be an advocate for the poor and for the unemployed. I was doing job fairs before I became mayor, and I will continue, because I think it's important to give people jobs and to try to help them get work. And we do that, and Debbie's here, we do it weekly, almost daily sometimes. I want to thank the veterans for allowing us to have a Veterans Affairs Administration in the office of the mayor. I want to thank the seniors for having worked with you in the Golden Free Senior Discount Program, the body cams of the police department, the Obama. Thank you for allowing me to lead changing a racist concept of O-Dixie into a beautiful new South that President Obama represented as he was president. And the list could go on and on. Please come at this time. Debbie Isaac, the Chief of Staff. I just want to be very clear about Family and Friends event. I want to thank this council for voting for it, for the budget that we've had every month to finance this event here at the city, on the city property, and sometimes at the marina. It's an opportunity for young people to come to display their God-given gifts, whether it's poetry or whatever. Also for local bands to be displayed with their gifts. So I wanted to have it here on this property this month. The weather's been somewhat inclement, so I'm glad that we moved it. But I had a conversation with the chief administrator, and she felt that it would probably be, and she was right, it would probably be a little taxing on the employees after Wednesday night. They have to come and set lights up and bring chairs and do a whole lot of stuff. So I sought the other venue that we have used from time to time, and that has been the Marina Event Center. So I do want to announce at this time, tomorrow at 6 p.m., we are blessed to have a legend for the first time come home, and that legend is George McCrae. There will be others that will perform in local talent. You may remember George McCrae from Rock Your Baby and I Get Lifted and God knows whatever else, but he's from Riviera Beach. There's absolutely nothing different about the event tomorrow as we had a few weeks ago. The only thing is Mr. McCrae had to come from Aruba, and this was the date that he could come, and he agreed to come. Normally it would have been on the 3rd Thursday, but we have made amends before and have had it at other times in the month, and sometimes we've missed a month or two and not had it all. So this will not be the first time that it's been moved up early is just to accommodate the airfares and the fact that he would be coming, he has family here, so we, you know, jumped on it. I need to ask you a couple questions, Ms. Isaacs. How long have there been the family and friends events here at City Hall? To the best of your recollection, your memory.
I believe we've been having family and friends since about 2016, or maybe even a little before that, because this council voted, or the previous council voted to start funding them. But before that, you were paying for them out of your, and you would also get donations. You were paying for them out of the community benefits. So it's been quite some time.
And this event is once a month, is that correct?
Once a month.
What has been the process that has been required from the office of the mayor as it relates to, and I'll be wrapping up in a minute, Madam Chair.
Performers?
To performers, local or whoever comes and sing or play an instrument or read a poem or whatever.
Well, the reading of the poems, that has been just something that they would just come and do because we were just giving them a small stipend. But as far as the bands that are performing with us, then the finance department insisted that we implement a performers agreement with the band. And we have done that religiously for those performers that we paid, you know, $1,000, $1,500, or whatever we paid them. So
and you signed those performance agreements on behalf
from
of
the office of the mayor. I don't sign them your name. I sign from the office of the mayor because that's the agreement.
And there has not been a problem with that?
It has never been a problem.
And you've been doing it every month?
Every month.
Did you do it last month?
Yes.
And the month before?
Yes.
So as I conclude, Madam Chair, I just want to be really clear that there should not be any reason or anything new today that we have not had before. Because the event, we've paid $500 for the radio. He's here, and there's been related expenses in the contract with the, as far as the performance agreement. That's all that we've had to do.
That's all we have had to do.
Okay, Madam, and we also received the email, Madam Attorney, from Marie Sullen, the insurance, that said that our insurance, can you read that? What Marie Sullen said?
Well,
because this is all foreign the day before to me.
I received an email from Mr. Sherman in Finance asking if the signature of Ms. Isaacs was appropriate. That was my first time seeing the Family and Friends performance agreement, and I said that it was not. However, this is my first time hearing that that has been acceptable in the past.
Every month, 3 years. Go ahead.
After I responded to the email saying that it was not appropriate because she doesn't have the authority to bind the city. However, and then Ms. Sullen, and I asked Ms. Sullen, was anything else required, because I noticed that there was also no indemnification language and no insurance language. Ms. Sullen replied and said that there were 3 things that we needed, which was the indemnification language, the city listed as an additional assured on the insurance certificate, and I can't recall the other. I don't know if Ms. Hoskins has it.
Madam Chair,
Manager.
Entertainers or entities must provide a copy of their insurance coverage.
But she also said after reviewing, and go from there. So after she reviewed.
And I haven't seen the email that I know you're referencing. And I asked Ms. Hoskins about it, and we haven't received a different opinion from Ms. Sullen.
But I
that
showed
was
you
what
that.
The risk manager stated, that those were the things that were needed. I don't know why it's different now, if that was never required in the past.
But I showed you that it said after reviewing that the city's insurance policy, general liability, that there was not an issue. That's what she said, that it would be covered. It has not been an issue. We've had it every month, and it's not going to be an issue tomorrow at 24 hours before. We are not going to make up law or do anything differently than what we have done. I know people are talking about politics. Well, let me just tell you this. Our events are our events, and there's no political shirts, no political literature, no political speeches are allowed in the event center. We know that. So I just want to make sure this council will just, the council members, I've spoken to them individually, all of them. I think except for Councilwoman Kashama Miller Anderson may not be attending, but the rest of them will be. And there will be a welcome by council, a greeting. Dr. Patel is doing something on family. So I just want to make sure that this council tonight will okay this as you have done all the other events. I mean, it never had a problem like this. This is shameful. It's ridiculous that anything new comes up a day before when this is being announced over and over again. So I don't really have anything to say other than we'll see you at 6 o'clock tomorrow at the event center. Mr. Sherman, if he needs a signature from the mayor all of a sudden, I'll do that. But I'm not doing anything else because there's nothing else required. There's nothing new. Council members, do you have any objections to anything of the event being held tomorrow as planned?
I don't have any objections, Mr. Mayor. I would suggest that Ms. Sullivan gets with legal and if our general liability insurance needs a rider, or if it is okay, and if we're going to move on from after this event, then we can tighten it up, and we have a new attorney who has noticed things that we need to put in place to keep us out of as many lawsuits. So we want to heed her advice, and after this event, I think that we make sure those things in place that that Ms. Nguyen thinks that we should have.
Absolutely. As long as we get time to do it and it's done in an orderly way, I don't have a problem. We want to change the rules, update something, fine. Anyone else have any comments? Dr. Botel, are you okay with this?
I would like to see that that our attorney have a meeting as soon tomorrow morning so that we feel that we are safe. I mean, I understand the mayor's concern about not wanting to pull the plug on something. I certainly support his desire to have this thing come off tomorrow. So I hope that there's some resolution can be found first thing in the morning.
Mr. Davis, did you have any comment on this?
Assuming that we have the facts, if we don't have all the facts, from what staff is, from I'm hearing from staff, is they're still getting information of the event as we speak today. Until I receive all that information, I will have to pause before I take a position one way or another, because I have to support staff on what they're doing, because we hold them accountable for the things that they do as they follow policy. So they got some things they can move forward the policy with. I support staff. If there's some questions, there's some things that we don't know about, then I'm going to have to pause. So I just have to focus on that piece alone.
Madam Manager, is there any any concerns that you have with this event for tomorrow? Although it's not here, is at the under the CRA, at the marina. I'm sorry.
And Madam Chair, if I may, Mayor, as we spoke earlier today, I know you were upset because I sent the email at 4:30, but I think we do need to have the insurance coverage, make sure that the city, as it relates to liability, that we are covered. We don't want any lawsuits, and it's our responsibility to ensure that the participants at the event, that they don't sue us for any falls or whatever. I've been involved in jazz festivals, and people have fallen, things have happened. So we just want to make sure we have the insurance coverage properly noted.
Madam Chair.
One moment, please. Madam Attorney, just simply make sure that we are legally sufficient for this event to move forward. If you have some questions, then certainly we can you can address those with staff tomorrow morning.
Yes, I don't have a problem meeting with staff. And I did ask the question regarding what has been done in the past for all these other performances, and I didn't get an answer to that question, because if, in fact, Ms. Isaacs has been signing and it's been acceptable, I don't know why the mayor's office would do anything different. But I will definitely meet with Ms. Sullivan first thing in the morning.
As well as Mr. Sherman, to determine what's different.
Right.
and why. Thank you.
I think someone has said.
Are you done, Mr. Mayor?
No, I'm not. I just need to make this clear that Ms. Sullen sent in her email, she stated that after reviewing that the insurance policy for the city covers this, that we're not, that identify whatever word they use, that she was okay after reviewing. I just don't want, under any circumstances, after all this radio and everything else, something comes up tomorrow that ain't never came up in 3 years. Every month it's been fine.
And just for the record, I haven't received that email from Ms. Sullen. You did show it to me on your phone.
I
But
got it from Ms. Karen. The email.
I
the
hadn't
email.
received it.
It's in your thing.
No.
The
No.
email's right there.
No, it doesn't say what you're saying.
Okay, we'll read it. It says after review. The one you sent me at 4:30.
I don't see that.
Okay.
The email you sent me at 4:30.
Mr. Mayor, the attorney has some concerns. Let the attorney work it out. We're clear on what you want.
Okay.
Are you done with your comments at this point, or
The
do you
last
have anything
comment
else?
is the mayor has stated on the record that these, there were 9 amendments. The city council threw out 5. So they must have thought 5 were bad. And I think the other 4 are not good for the city. And when you change your charter, usually with the state, as someone mentioned Chris Smith, takes 60% to change the charter. The other 4 only passed on a 3-2 vote. So that tells you something. That's it.
Madam Chair.
Madam Manager, you
may I address
recognize?
the email? She says, after reviewing the liability policy, I am able to confirm that our general liability insurance will cover liability claims that arise for this event. However, in addition, I am recommending the following for all events. The third party, who is the performer, indemnify the city in all contracts. Add the city as an additional insured on certificate of coverage. And entertainers or entities must provide a copy of their insurance coverage. That's all we need, those 3 things.
And those are her recommendations, right? She's recommended that, but for this event, this has to go. This event has to, we can't do recommendations the day before.
It's up to the council.
It's up to the council.
But she said that in the letter that this event can go, but she recommends for all other.
And I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But this event can go. Thank you. So this event is fine. Council,
Madam Attorney,
are
do
we
you have?
clear?
We'll get with Ms. Sullen in the morning and Mr. Sherman, yes, and we'll let the mayor know
Know what? Let me know what?
what the decision is and whether or not she still needs that information or not. We have to, in an attempt to protect the city, we will do everything we can to try to move this event forward so that it does not need to be canceled.
Thank you. Ms. Isaac, please.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I just need to say, because we have more than just the band performing at our events. We have like the SOS band, which is the student group that performs. We have individuals, Miss Lydia Smith's children. They are performers and they perform. We have all kind of performers that come. Are we expecting each of them to also start delivering these insurance indemnifications and performance agreements? We have not had that in the past.
Right, although we have not had it in the past, if the city attorney determines that we in fact need to indemnify anyone who is performing on our property, then yes, they would need to comply. We have to think in terms of what's going to ultimately affect the city and how. So if that is a requirement, someone may not have caught it, it may not have been addressed, but if the attorney is saying to us that we in fact need to have these things, then absolutely we have to put those things in place. I know that it may be troublesome and burdensome, but let's think about it on the flip side of that and how it will affect us as taxpayers moving forward should something happen. So we are trying to resolve the issue of what has been brought forward tonight, and then we have to look at possibly revamping the way we handle events. That's just the reality of it. We may not have, just because we didn't do it before does not mean that we were doing it right. And if she's saying that there's something else that we need to do, then absolutely we must.
But you're saying that for each performer is what I'm
I
just
have
trying
no
to
idea,
get clear.
Ms. Isaacs,
For
I
each
can't
performer.
answer that. I'm not legal. Legal will address it and provide response to the mayor's office, council, and members of the, of staff who put on events. Because
Madam-
if that becomes universal, then we need to do it. Mr. Mayor, may
Yeah,
I
Madam
please make
Chair,
my
I'm,
comment?
I'm just closing. My concern was having this come the day before at 4:30, but something that we've never, ever done. Now, if we're gonna do it, we'll do it in the future.
Right.
But this event has to go. If we're not, that's our job. Y'all
Mr. Mayor,
get that
we-
straightened out.
We're clear
Okay.
on your intent. We really are. I would like to just take a moment to thank the participants. Although we were light in attendance for the Tenants' Rights Symposium, the information that was provided was very valuable, very helpful, and very important, and we believe that our residents in various housing, be it a home or apartment unit or Stony Brook, we wanted to make sure that there was a What Every Tenant Should Know symposium, and that was held this past Saturday. I want to express my appreciation to the Florida Rural Legal Services. We had our Riviera Beach Code Department. We had members of police. We had members from building, community partners, and housing services were there. This was sponsored in part by the City of Riviera Beach, the Florida Rural Legal Services. We want to thank the Food Bank for providing fresh vegetables that we were able to distribute to participants and other residents at large, and we also want to thank Healthier Neighbors for their contribution and their work with us in providing child care. All of the volunteers and staff that were there, we say thank you. It is our hope to have this information aired on TV 18, and as soon as that is ready, we will certainly make you aware of when it will be aired. I wanted to just kind of piggyback on the comment that Vice Chair made with regards to the bus stop being replaced at Stony Brook. The final piece to that puzzle was during the meeting with the residents, there was a request to return Route 21 to the area, and that is, in fact, the last piece of the puzzle, and we will contact Mr. Forbes and his team to get a status and an update on the return of Route 21. Which was the service that provided the greatest coverage to meet the needs of our residents in Stony Brook. So let me say that on yesterday, I had an opportunity to meet with Mr. Blankenship down at the community center. And we did the final walkthrough, and it is absolutely beautiful and ready to go. All furniture, supplies, and the repair of the windows that were damaged due to gunshots has been completed. And that's most unfortunate that a new building would be damaged in that way. However, you know, we don't want to rush and put our residents in harm's way, but there were I believe they were stray bullets, but nonetheless, they damaged the building, and that has been repaired. So staff is now working on the programming. It is being finalized, and applications for the workers have been received, and Mr. Blankenship and his staff is going through the vetting process. So we look forward to the programming and staffing and serving the children and the seniors of the South End. We want the entire city to come in to be a part of it, but we wanted to be able to put something in the heart of Riviera Beach Heights that would be beneficial to our children. I want to say thank you to Mrs. Dawkins of the Southside Coalition, as well as the Concerned Mothers Group. They have been very diligent in providing opportunities and access for our children, and it's just wonderful to know that they will be coming out of the elements. I have a meeting on tomorrow morning with Ms. Maura Plant, who is the CEO of Living Hungry. If you'll recall, earlier this year, we provided over 10,000 boxes of food that went to our senior citizens, our daycares, our assisted living facilities, and any resident that wanted to come through. Well, apparently they have an overabundance again of ready-to-eat meals that are being offered to the city of Riviera Beach. So we're going down tomorrow to look to see what they have, and how that can be utilized for our residents. She also mentioned that there were some school supplies, so we are anxious to know what those school supplies are so that we can provide them within our community centers in the parks for our children. I want to just say that Riviera Beach is resilient. She is poised for greatness, and we have an opportunity to really do some amazing things. And my record, I believe, speaks for me. I have been professional. I have given you policies and procedures, and I have worked very hard on behalf of the residents of the city of Riviera Beach. And I will say to you that on Tuesday, March 12th, your vote, your voice. So there being no further business, we stand adjourned.